TORC, the off-road championship powers to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, the UP, to show the goods to a devoted audience of die-hard dirt fans. Bark River International Raceway welcomes all drivers to take on the highly technical track. And speed? How about flat out? Air? Check. Arguably the biggest, baddest jumps of the series. The greatest show on dirt is about to rattle the earth and the crowd with its display of raw horsepower. We're at the TORC halfway point and the drama is building. At the last event in Crandon, Wisconsin, Kyle Kleiman took command of the Pro Lights to stamp his name on the top of the box twice. Brad Lovell showed his terrain shredding finesse in the Pro 2s, winning both rounds and finding his groove. And Johnny and CJ Greaves each took a round as the battle for the Pro 4 crown tightened up, although a spoiler may be lurking in Keegan Kincaid. But it's a fresh weekend of racing with many hungry contenders relishing fresh possibilities and potential rewards on one of the great dirt tracks where vast experience, intense skill, and ice-cold focus gets the win. And where Midwest hospitality turns rabid as lines are drawn and allegiances are made to the best drivers of this most unique motorsport. From Bark River International Raceway, this is TORC, the Off-Road Championship.
Here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, you never know what the weather's going to bring, but I promise you, we're going to have a throwdown in the UP today. Stop number 7 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL from Bark River International Raceway. Hi everyone, welcome to Bark River. I'm Robbie Floyd. This is the man who's won 4 TORC Series championships along with those motorcycle championships, Ricky Johnson. And RJ, you've been there, you've done that, you've seen it all. But Kyle Kleiman in Pro Lights, this man wins 4 out of 5 to end 2016. He comes back and wins 4 out of 5 to start 2017. What's going to break up this freight train?
Well, it's got to be himself, because when you get on a roll, you start thinking about when is the streak going to end. But there's a moment in a driver's career where he's young, he's aggressive, taking chances, really doesn't care too much. A little bit like Ricky Bobby when he says, I just want to go fast. And Kyle Kleiman is in that point in his career where he just thinks about going fast every turn, every lap, and nothing is stopping him or any other driver.
But he's so dialed in, not only with his machine, but his self mentally. I mean, if he doesn't get a good start, he still knows he can come up to the front.
Well, he's done it last year, but now this year, he's the guy in front. He's the one that everybody is chasing. So is that going to get to him mentally? He's a local boy. I think he's going to still be on top.
We'll have to find out. This is definitely his backyard, and the third member of our broadcast team, Kate Osborne, has caught up with him.
A racer who dominated here at Bark River last year, Kyle Kleiman, sweeping the weekend. It's also your hometown track. What advantages does that give you?
Quite a bit actually, because, I grew up here. I know this dirt like the back of my hand. I know the track. I drive past it all the time, and so, it's awesome. And then you got the fans, they're huge. Can't hear them, but I know they're there. And, I walk through the pits and I get stopped like 50 times, and, good luck. So I appreciate all that for all of those guys, yeah.
Last year, we talked a little bit about how you did a lot of chasing. 2016, you're dominating, you're defending. How much more comfortable is it to defend?
It gives you a sense of ease, being able to have a points lead. You can make a little bit of an error, not that you want to, obviously, but, it gives you a sense of comfort in that aspect instead of, having to chase somebody down. It's a lot nicer.
Kyle Kleiman, points leader in Pro Lights here at Bark River.
Well, it's a beautiful day here in Bark River, Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, and you see thousands of fans on hand here, and it's a beautiful day right now. Ricky Johnson, these fans came out to see the best in short course off-road racing, but the weather may take a turn as the day progresses.
Well, up here in the UP, it switches quick. What they have what you call a lake effect, and so you get the temperatures blowing in from the west, you get the moisture from the lake on the east, and so everything starts to move north, and the cold weather from the north. So you got a lot going on, and the weather changes like you see now. Just a little bit of wispy clouds, but they're calling for rain.
Up until this point, it's been an excellent day as far as sportsman class racing is concerned. The track, it's holding its own. They've been watering it throughout the day. As you see, the Pro Stock UTV is about to take off, and unlike the land rush start that we saw at Crandon at the last round of TORC, here they will start in a conventional form side by side heading to the first turn.
Yeah, and only Crandon really has the space. And a long time ago, they used to do a land rush start right here where you're watching, right where the AMSOIL sign is, where you see the side-by-sides coming down into turn 1. But there was a lot of accidents because you get so many vehicles coming in side by side, pushing us around and pushing guys into the wall. So we wanted to make sure that the drivers made it around the first turn and then go to work from there. So a little bit safer, but it does eliminate that chance of a guy that qualified in the back to get the whole shot.
Pro Stock UTV's been dominated by one driver alone. We've had every stop has been won by CJ Greaves, and expect for him to be up the front in this one, barring a mechanical. I mean, this guy has just been on top of his game. It's pretty much where he left 2016, a new vehicle. He showed up in Crandon for the World Championships, and he hasn't looked back.
Well, and he's the complete package. You know, I've watched CJ when I first met him when he was a little kid. He was riding mini bikes, so he came from a motocross background. So that teaches him how to read terrain at a young age. He has a great family with his mom and his dad. Obviously, Johnny has done so much in this sport. Johnny Greaves, the multi-time Pro 4 champion and Pro Light champion, and done all the different stuff. So he's been bred into this, and so this is just an extension of that. Also, to add on top of that, these guys race these. I watched on the Instagram and all the different stuff. They're running them on frozen lakes and stuff over the winter. So he didn't have an off time. They worked all the way through the winter as well.
Yeah, I saw a Swamico River, whatever it was, as I was driving up here. I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. And I think that was one of the creeks or rivers that they were running on.
I'm pretty sure you didn't say it right, but
how is it?
I don't know, but I don't know if I can say it right, but I don't know if it's Swamico.
Well, you used a swing on there.
There's
I just said Swamico. 8 laps for the UTVs for these guys, and you see it is a full field, over 25 drivers trying to make it into the day program here. As you see the Yamaha Pace vehicle for the UTVs leading the pack there. Starting lineup, CJ Greaves and Kenny Mash side by side. Find your favorite driver up at the top of the screen. Adam Riggs, Zach Martin. Now, CJ, the points leader. Zach Martin is actually second. He's coming off of 2 back-to-back second-place finishes. Dylan Boynton, back-to-back third-place finishes in the Pro Stocks. But CJ, a 23-point advantage after 5 completed rounds. We still have round 4 to make up at the end of the year, but we're on round 7 right now, and you see a full field of Yamahas. They've been to the dominant class here in the Pro Stock.
Coming around, and then the pace car will pull out, and the leader starts the race. You're going to see a cone on the inside, and right in between those 2 flags. Anywhere right here, expect CJ to hit the gas, and there he goes.
Kenny Mash, a guy to look for, though. Next to him, he's coming off an 18th and it did not start at the last round, but he was up there the first couple of rounds, and definitely another moto guy to look for at this race here in Bark River.
CJ jumping out to an early lead, but not running away with it at this point. The track is great right now. You can see that they've done a good job. Watch the lines that CJ takes. He's outside. He's kind of scrubbing that double jump if you hit it to the far right. But right behind him, I'm pretty sure that's either Adam Reek or Ken Mash. I can't quite see at this point.
Again, we'll get updated time and scoring. It's the hardest to identify these, and you see a Yamaha. So you see, once you can identify them, have a different color scheme, but other than that, it's really hard to tell. You see the 3-3, that'd be the 933 of CJ Greaves out in front, just down the road in Abrams, Wisconsin. Yamalu Maxis Graves Motorsports entry.
Look how deep this field is, Robbie. It's great because this is not reviving racing, but in some cases, this is where people can go down there and finance a vehicle and go out and race because they're small, they're easy to put in your garage, but they are 100% a race vehicle. What I love about the Yamaha, and I'm not taking anything from the Polaris or the Can-Am, but I love the sequential shifting because it makes it more like a motorcycle where you got to shift gears, not just hit the gas.
See Kenny Mash mashing that throttle there. 947 in second. He's out of Midland, Texas, my home state. Mash Motorsports, Power Sports, 1 nationwide trailer. Can-Am is what I have listed on him in the 947.
Midland, Odessa. But
yeah, that's desert. From if you're in Texas, that's way out in West Texas. It's flat there.
It looks like he's on a Yamaha.
Yeah, I haven't seen him on here. That's definitely a Yamaha.
It looks like Yamaha 1, 2, and 3. What's great is Yamaha started this class a long time ago with the Rhino, but unfortunately, a long time ago they had a whole bunch of lawsuits and stuff like that, and so it faded for a while. But now everything is awesome, and these are much more of a racing vehicle.
Down to Kate Osborne.
CJ Greaves was talking about earlier, the fact that these UTVs are actually a lot more fun on these longer tracks than he was actually anticipating. That big jump in the back there, he said you get launched on it. Also, you get into fifth gear in this track. He said it's definitely a lot more fun than he imagined.
Well, for myself as a driver, you know, I've driven Pro 2s here, driven Pro 4s here, and I can imagine when CJ's thought was, it's going to be kind of boring, kind of like restrictor plate racing where you're wide open the whole time. But you have those narrow tires, and these are a pretty narrow platform when it comes compared to his Pro 4. So you have to run on the edge, and I think this is going to be a big benefit for him when he gets out there in his Pro 4 to race against his father, Scott Douglas, and also Ross Hook, and the likes of the rest of the guys. So it's going to teach him where to run on the course and how to find traction.
Timing and scoring, a full lap is complete after the 4th lap. This is an 8-lap race, but after the 4th lap, we will have a competition caution. After the halfway point of each of our races, it will be a mandatory competition caution. So CJ can be out in front by 7, 8 seconds, whatever it is, and he knows the back half of this race is going to start nose to tail with Kenny Mash. Reek just behind him, Adam Reek in 3rd.
Well, and we have to throw props where they're due, and that competition yellow was 100% Jim Baldwin's idea. Back when he had the core series where this originated from, he said, I want to see guys running side by side, and I don't want to see a runaway, so I'm going to throw a competition yellow. And that's back when they would joke with NASCAR that said there was debris, no one knew who it was, where they'd have debris on the track to bring out a yellow and bring them back together, but instead it's a different way of racing. So you race to the midway point, then they bring us back together and you race. So at first I hated it as a racer, but honestly, it's the way to go because the fans love it, the drivers love it, and if you do happen to get a bad start, it gives you another shot at that leader.
You mean to tell me NASCAR actually says there's debris on the track when there may not be debris on the track?
Or one of the drivers back in the old days would throw a piece of roll bar pad or something like that out on the track and that. But it's about the show. We want to see a great fight. We want to see a battle.
And they changed their whole format now because of that. I mean, they have 3 races within a race.
And they're going with they're shortening it up to try to hang into that. We're watching the battle for 4th place right now. You can see the track is already starting to bunch up. That's Martin and Mulder going back and forth. And the dust is going to play a factor here, Robbie, because the first couple guys go by, you can see it's not that dusty here. You can see that's for the 4th and 5th place. But the dust is going to be a factor for those guys running back for 7th and 8th.
There you go. There's Reek and Mash. Reek in the 944. They look very similar as they're coming down. There's the flagging stand. Green still means go. So both equally prepared machines. And when I say that, they both look like they're set up about the same, and those could be Greaves Motorsports machines, because Johnny he had thoughts on building like 12, 15. He wound up building like 26, I think, during the wintertime.
Yeah, roll cage looks similar. Roll of the chassis looks similar. Wheels look similar. So pretty much they came out in the same camp, but right now it looks like it's March that is looking on the inside, looking on the outside, but just can't find his way around Reek.
Driving it in, a big launch, typically one of the biggest launches on tour. A lot of different off-camera scenarios here as well. Some blind turns coming down in front of that grassy area in the stands. You make that right-hand turn, you really can't see what's on the other side. You hope there's nothing on the other side. Here, typically a spot where you know it's going to blue groove, and how do you adjust throughout the day?
Well, now we got another vehicle in the mix. That's Martin has worked his way up right behind Marsh, and he's started to check, looking from one side to the other. So while Marsh was trying to chase down Reek, Martin worked his way right into the mix. I'm sorry, I've been pronouncing that Marsh. That is Mash.
It's all good.
No, I'm just making a correction. My bad. You know, a lot of people call me Johnston back in the day. It happened.
It's all right, Risky Johnston. As we see the competition caution now come out for CJ Greaves. 4 laps been complete, and unofficially looking at time and scoring. Greaves, Reek, Mash, Martin, Mulder, Dylan Poynton moved up inside that top 6, moving up his quickest lap. Well, not able to get that. 15:04 is the quickest lap for Greaves. Reek turned a 15:02, so if that's right, I'm not sure that's not quite right. Our fast lap of the race right now with CJ Greaves of 14:54. That forget me talking about time and scoring, because I'm absolutely off my game right now because time and scoring is not quite right. Let's go down to Kate Osborne.
You know, guys, these are one of those things that this track is not only different than anything we've really seen for these guys. People talk about Crandon, but remember, they weren't running on the full Crandon track. This is so much longer than what they're used to. On top of that, they're also trying to learn this track as they're going. They don't have the notebooks full of Bark River information like some of these other drivers who have been here for years and years have. So it's definitely a challenge for these UTV drivers to get comfortable out here for a couple of different reasons.
Well, and can't agree with you more. There's a lot of these guys that have come up here that have done some of the short course races, whether it be what they call the Works or the GNCC, a completely different style of racing. This is much more like a rally cross, like a huge rally cross where they got a lot of speed. But now you do have somebody that is out in front that's been running here for a lot of years and knows how the dirt changes. Because if you look at right here where the pace car is coming around.
That'd be our Yamaha
It's
Pace
very
UTV.
loose on the outside, and then you see the rocks exposed on the inside, and also how much blue groove we're getting. So it's going to be important to get a good jump.
I want to point out Jason Luberg started out in 24th. He's moved up 9 spots. He's been our biggest mover the first half of this race. We'll see if he can get up in there near that top 5. Later on, hasn't worked inside the top 12 just yet. Greaves going outside, didn't worry about anybody being really underneath him right there because I think he says this is the fastest line I can check out if I'm in the nice smooth stuff instead of hitting that slippery stuff.
And watch CJ just comes there and puts the right side up, and he actually doesn't even jump. He kind of scrubs that. I'd like to say that I invented that line a long time ago, but he's definitely perfecting it at this point, so I'm going to give it to CJ doing a great job using motor lines because he's not just using all 4 wheels and hitting it as a jump, but using one side versus the other to keep himself down on the ground. So great job by CJ, but he definitely has a lot of competition to Reek and Mash.
Looks like Martin back there in 4th, also closing in, trying to get inside that top 3. Martin coming off a back-to-back runner-up finishes back there in 4th and getting a little wide there is Reek, but I don't think it really hurt him.
Well, what happened was Reek got a mouthful of dirt. He got roosted really hard by CJ, lost the line, then grabbed a piece of the cushion, put him up on 2 wheels for just a second, not high, and then lost a little drive. But that's the thing with CJ Greaves. You cannot give him an inch because he'll keep pushing it out.
Problems for one of our Can-Ams out there. Didn't quite get the number quick enough. As we see the leader, right wheel's just right off the edge. And that nice, good dirt, the left side, well, they're not really touching the ground too much. The outside's really the ones doing the digging in. Still that race for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th tightening up. Reek's not let him go. I mean, he's kind of held in there. If CJ makes a mistake, which he hardly ever does, he's there to capitalize.
Yeah, and we saw before that Reek actually had the fastest lap time. Now, if he can put those together, and in my opinion, I would just be following CJ and adjusting my line just a little bit to try to learn from him as much as possible.
Let's go to Kate Osborne.
Adam Reek doing an excellent job trying to capitalize on any mistakes that CJ Greaves may make. But in looking at it, this is really Adam's first showing that he can actually drive this thing. He didn't really compete in rounds 1, 2, and 3. Rounds 5, he did not qualify. In round 6, he got a 7th. So this is really important right now for him to get out and race and show that he can run this thing well.
He's running really well. And you don't even see 3rd, really. I mean, even in contention as it stands right now. But yeah, Adam Reek doing a great job. He's got one of the best drivers, if not the best driver in short course out in front of him, CJ Greaves. And has been untouchable, but right now Adam can almost reach out and touch him as it stands right now. We're on lap 6 of 8. Oh, there's a good move by Martin. Martin back in 4th, trying to make it 3rd to get by Kenny Mash.
What I like is that Martin's not following. He's looking to the left, looking to the right. Now he's just running just on the outside. Mash, actually Martin is actually, Mash is running the blue groove and
he's making him go the long way around.
Right, well Martin, but he's using the cushion.
Oh, until he just jumped into 3rd. Look at the race for 3rd now. We've got Martin in that spot, and if he can make an aggressive move like that, watch out, Reek and Greaves.
Right now, he's wishing that he had another yellow because he is on the move right now. And his lap times, the lap times are unbelievably fast. But we're seeing some confusing information because I know it's not a 14-minute lap time, but the way it looks like is he should be running the quickest lap as it stands. Yeah, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. As they say, Smokey the Bandit, long way to go and a short time to get there.
You're pulling every movie reference out.
I am.
You had a Ricky Bobby, now a Smokey and the Bandit.
Hey, it's all great. It's all great movies. But the track is unbelievably hard right now. And I talked to the guys that work up here, and they were telling me that this place was underwater, that they couldn't really do much. But now you can see with a little bit of sunshine and stuff, the top cushion, they're not breaking away. It's really hard to slip.
Good races throughout the field. Mash in 4th, Mulder, Point 7th place, Enlow. Scott was in 8th place. There's Point trying to sneak in. 9:06 of Mulder just in front of him. That's 5th and 6th. The orange strip across the top in 5th.
That's
Looks like Enlow sneaking in there too. He said, hey, you don't want to take the blue groove? I'll take it. I'll take the shorter one. Still have not seen Luberg. He's actually dropped back a spot, so I talked about how fast he was the first half of this race. Hasn't really made any moves the second half of the race.
Back up front with CJ Greaves. I love how they just, what they call butter the downside on that. They throw it sideways. We see the white flag out, indicating one more lap to go. CJ is running flawless right now, so for the other guys, they're hoping that he catches a lapper, that kind of messes him up, but right now CJ's got the right combo.
I don't know if the other guys in a Pro 4 are really liking this too, because this is practice time, and you're able to see things on the track right now, and Pro 4s are running earlier than they normally will. The track's not going to change that much as it would if, say, he races early and then really late.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they're going out and they're blading it, they're watering it, but they can't get the water down. They don't have rippers and stuff, because once you start to break the track, break that top crust, the track starts to deteriorate really bad, and then the rocks start to come up. So it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
You want to get the water down, but you want to keep a good, hard racing, consistent racing surface, so the guys can, move to the left or to the right and not blow tires off, because this is known for having some rocks in it.
And in saying that too, though, you also have to set up your truck for the conditions in the track are that particular day. So CJ Greaves hitting that jump one more time. He's going to have a sweeping left-hand downhill turn. A right-hander that's typically the first turn of the track. Sweeping right, sharper, like a double apex. The left-hand turn is going to play a pivotal part today. It always does, heading into this little double to set up into the last turn of the track. CJ Greaves out of Abram, Wisconsin. The Monster Energy Yamaluke Maxxis Graves Motorsports Yamaha takes the Yamaha checkered flag, and another victory for him. That's 6 in a row in 6 tries for 2017. Adam Reek finishes in 2nd, not too far behind. It's going to be Zach Martin in 3rd out of Cochran, Georgia on the SOB built Motorsports Victory Lane Yamaha. Rounding out the podium, Kenny Mash will drop back to 4th, and Ryan Mulder rounding out the top 5. We'll hear from the top 3 when we return to TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter. So count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
It's a beautiful day as it stands right now in Bark River, Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula, about a 2-hour drive north of Green Bay. It's short course off-road racing, but if you're an enthusiast of outdoor motorsports, this is a pretty darn big track. Robbie Floyd sitting next to Ricky Johnson, multi-time TORC champion. Kate Osborne is down trackside. These fans, they watch a great race and they head bound to the backside and they grab them a icy cold beverage, adult beverage that is. The daiquiris are delicious. I hear that the Bloody Marys are also off the hook, as they always are here at Bark River.
Well, this place, the whole town, everybody embraces Bark River. You come up here, fly into Green Bay and drive about 90 miles to get up here, and everybody knows about it. You know, it's I've been coming up here since the late 90s, and you know, and racing a few years back here, and you love it because you're not looked down upon as a dirty off-road racer. Everybody loves it. They come
Who says
out
that? Who calls you a dirty off-road racer?
Well, that's just the locals at my house. But
this is true.
But here it's I think it's a great source of income for the town. The communities behind it. It's the club or whatever you want to call it that owns it. So there's a lot of people that are involved in bringing in money.
Sure. Ponzi, it's their backyard as well, and they're well represented here as well. Also well represented is a man who's won every race he's entered for 2017 in the Pro Stock UTVs. That would be CJ Greaves climbing out of that Yamaha. Once again, Kate Osborne catches up with him.
Yes, CJ, your mom leaned in there right then and said that was nearly perfect. However, Adam Reek was giving you a little pressure. How much did you feel that pressure?
You know, it's many people don't know it, but Adam and I have raced since we were probably 5 or 6 year old in motocross growing up, and we live around here. So any race we went to, him and I were always battling it out, and it's awesome to get him in a UTV now and ready to let it all battle again. So we built that car for him, and another Greaves car up on top. So we went 1 and 2. Can't thank all the guys at Yamaha, Monster Energy, Maxxis Tires, Method Race Wheels, Fox Shocks, Yamalube, Graves Exhaust, the Blue Crew, everyone that helps us out. These Yamahas are continue to dominate, and hopefully we can keep the roll going.
CJ with another win here in Stock UTV.
Thanks, Kate. As we look at the unofficial results, you see Greaves, Reek, and Martin, the top 3, all the way down to Kruger at 935, rounding out the top 10. But, you know, these are all for valuable points. You get 25 points for the win. CJ's got that perfect score going. But Adam Reek, it's only his second finals that he's made. He didn't qualify at the first day of Crandon. He comes back and finishes 7th at the second day at Crandon, and he comes back here in Bark River and takes 2nd. Kate's with him.
Adam Reek giving CJ Greaves a run for his money there. He just said that you guys have had a couple of different battles over the years, which is kind of fun to see you guys both up here 1-2. For you, though, you kind of came out swinging today. What clicked for you?
You know, the track has been awesome for me. Ever since practice and yesterday and stuff, the car just seemed like it was handling great. And, you know, after I got by Kenny Mosher, I seen some of CJ's lines, and I just tried to hook up to him like a train, and we just kept going, and it was a really good time.
You can tell he's definitely having a fun time out there running.
Yeah, and those podiums will do that to you as well. He gets a few more points.
And I think the key that Reek was saying is that he was watching CJ's lines. He's trusting him on the setup and everything like that. And it's pretty cool that Johnny and CJ are giving him a competitive car to go out there and chase him down. So may the better man win. And that time it was Johnny. I'm sorry, with CJ. My bad.
Kate's down with 3rd place. Zach Martin.
Zach Martin with a power move here today. You knew it was time to get around him. How did you know that was actually the right time? Because it seemed like he was kind of giving you all different kinds of moves there.
Yeah, he was shaking up. I mean, he's a motocross racer. He knew what he was doing. I just wanted to run a clean race, you know, and I seen what he was doing in that corner, so I knew how to do the opposite, and we had to make a move, and we did.
Knowing how to get around Kenny Mash there.
Yeah,
Zach Martin.
Yep, Kate, that was my move of the day. I agree. That was an aggressive one. And so far, Zach Martin hasn't finished outside the top 5, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, 3. So he's in the right direction, but he keeps losing a little by little. He keeps losing more points to CJ Greaves in his perfect season so far. Pro Stock UTVs are done. Let's fire up the Pro Mod UTVs here in a bit. We're at TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL, Bark River style.
Turo Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Bring on the water as long as it's in the form of a water truck here at Bark River International Off-Road Raceway. Round 7 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. There's the first turn as they head downhill into that right-hander. Spray the water is all good as long as Mother Nature, as long as those poopy clouds with the dark bottoms don't get heavier bottoms. As Ricky Johnson and myself, we're in this nice studio here, but outside it can change in a hurry. We've seen it here before, especially if you get a hard pack track with water standing on the top. I mean, it gets super slick.
Well, and that's the thing. If they water it too much, or if they break it up to try to get the water to go down, then when the rain comes, it makes it too deep, and the track's going to be terrible. So you're trying to play with Mother Nature here and do the right amount of prep and the right amount of water. So if it does rain, it makes it still a salvageable race. But this here at Bark River, it's a very hard soil, and so if we have rain, it's just going to make it very slippery. It's not going to get really boggy and stuff like that. So it's a fun place to race in the rain, but a hairy place to race as well because you have such high speeds.
And now the adjustments as far as the trucks are concerned. We still have one more UTV race, but we'll see the Pro 4s, the Pro Lights, followed by Pro 2s, a little bit different today. But as far as trucks, have you already done your tire grooving, the cuts, everything been made, the tire compounds on the things that you can change? Has that already been determined already an hour ago?
Yeah, you have your choice that you're going with in case the track stays the same. But I walked through the pits and I looked at the different guys. I went to the grease with Chad Hords, Scott Douglas, obviously with Keegan and Luke and Brad Level and everybody. They have a set of tires with opened up
just
for
in
the
case.
mud. Yeah, just in case, and they're ready to go. At the last minute, they're going to throw those on. So they're going to probably stay with the same fronts, same lateral cuts or circumference cuts to help for the turning and braking. But if it gets really muddy, they got to make sure that they have something that's going to open and eject it, because right now they're going towards a more closed pattern because it is
Need
blue
more
groove.
tire to the asphalt, because that's what it's going to turn to.
Exactly. But when it happens, you have the groove that's going to help you on a couple things. One, it's going to be able to clear out and give you a clean edge, and the other thing is you're going to have it to where it ejects the water out, because it's going to pool up and they're going to hit. They're going to want to hydroplane. So you, just like your street tires that have a rain tire, it has a way to evacuate that water.
All right, we're going to step aside for just a bit. We still have plenty more here at TORC. Long day of racing. Glad you could be a part of it. Everybody watching on TORCseries.com and around the world. Ricky Johnson, Robbie Floyd here with you. We'll be back in just a bit.
Golf is more than a word. It's a sport, a pastime, and the destination? Sweetgrass Golf Club. Perfect your swing as you aim for the flag on an island, and your stay at the island. Unwind and relax. A little spin, a big deal. Celebrate the day. All part of your total experience at the island. Stay and play Sweetgrass. Call 877-ISL-GREEN today.
It looks slippery because they just laid down water, part of the track preparation here at Bark River International Off-Road Raceway. Is they bring full-size water trucks as well. Look at that, a big rig coming in. I mean, there's no simple water sprinklers here. I mean, they're throwing down some water.
Well, they got a little bit of everything. They got the ones that shoot the water really high, so it wants to mist down, and it sounds kind of funny, but if you spray the water right at it, it doesn't have a chance to absorb. So if you can shoot it high, let it fall. We've been around motocross our whole lives, and we've also been on a track where they've overwatered a little bit. But they try to do everything they can to make it a great race for the fans and also a great place for the drivers. But
hey, special thing, and your son was the he's going to be a Trivial Pursuit answer to this. The Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award is coming up at the end of our show today, and not only do you get this beautiful wallet to throw down in the UP,
you get $10.
You get $10, and we get $240.
You get $10 for that with that wallet. No.
It just so happens the Potawatomis, their casino's right here next. I can turn this $250 into something special.
I know you double down and make it happen. but it's awesome. I want to thank Red Sanders and everybody from Vision Wheels, because it's great, because for racers to go out there and have a little extra spending cash to take their wives, their girlfriends, to take their
wives and their girlfriends,
their wife and their girlfriend out to dinner, you need more than $250. Vision, but
and the lawyer.
But what's great is that it gives them some cash and stuff like that. But it's the momentum, it's the trophy. So when you go somewhere and you pull out your wallet, it's going to be a point of a conversation that someone's going to go, "Where did you get that?" And it's cool because they're not all the same. This one's embroidered with the Wisconsin, the UP. Throw
Michigan.
down.
You know what? I think I said Wisconsin earlier too.
You
on
did.
Something.
Well, if you throw a rock out
idiot.
that way, about 200 yards,
You'll
you're in
hit.
Wisconsin. So we're on that brink.
You
But
throw it that way, you'll hit Canada. It's right up north of it. But yeah, you get the Bad Mofo wallet, but along with that cash, and it'll be Pro Lights, Pro 2s, Pro 4s. They'll be the eligible recipients. Who maybe wins the race isn't always the one that wins the thing. It might be just a special move for somebody that worked his way up through the pack. I mean, if UTVs were in it, I would have Zach Martin. I mean, he had the pass of the day so far.
That was Kate said it best. That was a definite power move, jumping to the inside. And when you got open wheels, it's a little bit hairier than when you got the bars that keep the wheels separated. But anything can happen here. So we might see the longest jump win it. We might see the best pass. We might see the most dominant, the best save. It could be a lot of different things. And once again, want to thank the guys from Vision Wheels for looking out for the drivers. It's great for them to have that.
And you can participate in this as well. We'll have a certified judge. I can't say who's certifying them, but we'll have a judge that determines who the winner is.
Certified judge of a bad mofo.
Yeah, of the
There's
bad mofo.
an actual certification that you go through.
He has been educated in the bad mofo school of bad mofery.
Education.
But hashtag TORC17, you can tell us your thoughts. Kate Osborne, they can do a lot more than that at hashtag TORC17.
Oh, absolutely they can. And actually earlier today I did a bit of a track pit walk. It was pretty amazing because the Greaves were standing right there. I got talking to Brad Lovell, who was actually thrashing on his truck at that particular moment. And we also made our way over to the Kleinman. I actually call it the Kleinman community. I just think it's so great because everyone here at Bark River seems to love the Kleinmans. It's awesome. But Mark Kleinman was there, and get this. They create something very special. That's not part of their everyday work that they do, and you have to check out Facebook to figure out what they create here in Michigan in this particular part of the country. And it actually lends me to ask you guys, Ricky, RJ, and Robbie, what you guys would make if you guys were from the UP or around. What kind of work would you do? Because that one's Southern California. It's a bit different. Down in Texas is a bit different. What would you do if you lived around here?
I'd be building drinking beverage holders.
I would create a better Slurpee machine, and I would try to make up the world's biggest cup with the most advertising on. Oh, they've already done that.
Oh, they've already done that.
Apparently, I'm jealous that you guys have those nice ice-cold beverages wherever you guys are, because
Slurpees.
right now
They say they're Slurpee-like.
They say they're Slurpees, but they are a delicious beverage. But I would say if I was up here in the UP, I would have to go. And they've already done that. I love those bears that they make out of the chainsaws.
Oh, yeah.
So I've always wanted those wood carvings are awesome. And then also you got the Bark River knives. But the Kleinmans are big into logging, and that's where they've got the people from Ponce to come on. Because if you're kind of like a nerd on certain things, like to see how things are done,
I got brain freeze.
Don't drink so much beverage, Robbie. Oh. You got to go to look at the Ponce side and watch how this thing will grab a tree, chop it, debark it, cut it, and stack it on a trailer. It's unbelievable how it works.
I got to see it at Crandon.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I gotta say that's not what is part in special. That's not what's actually featured in our Facebook Live. It's actually completely different than that. So you have to check it out, Facebook Live on TORCseries.com. I do want to say, not that you guys asked me what I would do, but just because I'm going to say it. Thank you, gentlemen, by the way. But what I would do is I would be a fudge maker.
There you go. And I would be a customer. I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to roll right off and just say.
You had that nice chocolate dessert at the landing down there in whatever Menominee last night. She must have chocolate on the mind.
No, the problem was she ate like 3 avocados, and so she's like, I'm really jonesing for some chocolate right now. Fudge maker.
There's the pro mods lined up over there, and I think I see, is that King Kincaid? He's into the
CJ's already up there.
CJ's there early. Chad Hort is as well. We've got a lot of racing. 4 more big-time racing classes coming up here in just a bit, including the pro mod division. So stick around, see if Kyle Cheney can continue his second-place ways as he's finished second. Rodney Van Epperen's won everything but one race in Chicago. He had a mechanical, and it was something to do with the throttle linkage, I believe. I remember it was something to do with the way he was able to give it throttle, but he pulled off. He wouldn't have pulled off. I mean, he had a good chance of winning that one, but, I mean, he's been really good. But at this rate, I mean, he can't lose a point. I mean, he has to keep winning because Kyle Cheney's been the most consistent second-place finisher I've ever seen.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of who it was that finished second all the way across, but you have to make sure that you're there. To finish first, you first must finish. And the size of this class, the problem with that, Robbie, is in some of the pro classes where the fields aren't like over 10 and stuff like that, if you have a bad day, you still finish in the top 10.
Right.
If you DNF here, we have 26 entries.
Yeah, you finish outside that 13th place, you're hurt for certain.
Yeah, you're almost a 0 on points. So that's what's getting these guys, is because if they have a mechanical, they got to go. But here at Bark River, they are so wide open the whole time. This is a lot, even though these guys are probably reaching 90 miles an hour. They're flying. So I don't want to act like, oh, these are glorified golf carts. These things are race machines, all-wheel drive, unbelievably high RPMs, and they're very fast. But you are on the gas so hard that any little thing, if it starts to break, it's going to self-destruct.
As they line up for the Pro Mod UTVs, and this one in the Pro Mod last year, Travis Pointer and Tim Farr were the winners of the 2 races at Bark River last year. They were in our field here as well, but leading the field will be Jason Luberg, Rodney Van Eperen on that front row, Hans Atta, Zach Simic, Kyle Cheney, Michael Gilliland. Also another front runner there. He'll start 6th. Travis Pointer, so last year's winner, into 7th. Minerick 8th. Tim Farr will be 9th, so he's a repeat winner, hopefully. Here, Zach Zakowski, another front runner. He'll be in 10th. So that is a really stacked field. I mean, even though there's only been 2 winners this year, there's several guys that could win and have been in the mix in and out of each and every round, especially at Crandon. I mean, there were those front 3 guys, any one of them had a chance.
Yeah, but Van Eperen's new to this sport. He was a Pro 2 racer last year, so
and
he
buggies
knows his way
before
around.
that.
Exactly, so he knows his way around a race car and a race track. But it was Luberg that was unbelievably fast last year. And what I like with the modified is that you're seeing a good mix of the different vehicles. You know, so there's certain amounts of things that they can do to modify them. So we're seeing more of the Polaris up there in the mix, and also the Can-Ams in the mix and stuff like that. Because as you look at the front row, on the outside the first 2 are Yamahas, on the inside the first 2 are Polaris. So a good variety.
Easy for you to say. As we look at Tim Farr, the only guy that has not won, or the only non-Yamaha that's won, his Can-Am, won back in Chicago, the 2nd round. And you talk about Jason Luberg, he's going to be a guy to look for, that Bikeman Performance Polaris. Polaris Razor, Mystic Lubes, GBG. He raced in mods, or stock, last year, this year in the mod. So it's going to be a little different class, but he's excelled here at Bark River. We'll see if he can do it in a different class. See a few of those rocks come up. And yeah, they do clean up the track, but up here up north, as the Yamaha Pace vehicle will pull off the track, that these rocks pull up. It's kind of like permafrost almost. It just keeps pushing up.
Yeah, keep pushing them up
throughout the year. I want to drive that for a few laps. Will you take me for a ride in the Yamaha Pace vehicle? Well, never mind.
Yes.
No, never mind. Never mind. I'll change that. All right, it's going to be a slippery first lap. You know it. And Rodney Van Eperen looks like he's trying to at least keep those right side tires out of that slop. I think that's a smart decision by him. Luberg with a good jump, though. He's definitely got the whole shot.
Luberg with a great, so the difference between the 2, the Yamaha is a sequential shift, and the Polaris is a centrifugal clutch. So here we see Van Eperen shooting to the outside, using the cushion, and getting back out into the front. But now we see Luberg shooting, whoa, the inside, crossover, in, out, unbelievable.
Just didn't have anywhere to go. Anna back in 3rd place where he started. But yeah, the Bikeman boys, they came prepared this weekend, as they have for each one of these stops. I mean, they have the most, excellent, setup out there, and have people throughout the pits. And right now, Luberg's in 2nd. Van Eperen trying to check out. Now remember, after lap 4, we still have that competition caution, but Van Eperen, he's got a couple of second leader, at least a full second over Anna and Luberg.
Ada looking to the inside now to the outside, but Luberg just running the cushion and throwing a throw. So let's take another look at that pass between Van Efferen and Luberg. We see Luberg shoot to the inside, gets a little high. So now we'll see Van Efferen as he starts to come in. He's going to have the lead, but when we get to the pivot point, we're going to see Luberg shoot by. We'll get back to that in just a moment.
Easy for you to say, RJ, as you're seeing a couple of bikemen. There's the XPS 891 back there in fourth. That's Cheney. He's moved up. Kyle Cheney's moved up to fourth, started in fifth out of Ohio. His Can-Am, XPS Oil CT Raceworks. Seen a couple of different lines there. You know, that follow the leader, I'm not a big fan of it. And early on here, you are seeing guys trying to find a little bit different line.
Well, what we saw in turn one in this section.
Oh, Ada gets squirrely.
Yeah, Ada gets squirrely, and Chaney's getting right behind him. In this spot, we see how Luberg just comes straight in, rolls right on the outside, so he makes up some ground, but it's Van Efferen that is able to squeak away when it comes to the fast, smooth stuff, so a little bit more of truck lines that he was taking.
When you talked about that start, and Luberg got that tremendous start, the centrifugal clutch is an automatic, basically, as far as the transversion. You give it gas and it goes. But then again, you see Van Efferen with that sequential, he could be in a lower gear in theory as well. He should have gotten a good jump being in that sequential. So what do you think it was with Luberg, how he was able to get it? Was he just on the gas in the right place, right time?
Well, Luberg was on the pole, so it's when he goes, so he has a fraction of a second to jump everybody, because that's the way it's supposed to be. The leader shouldn't be penalized. Oh, and we see Ada pulling off to the side. Something went wrong with his vehicle. We'll find out and try to get back to you. But back to watching Luberg chasing down Van Efferen. He was able to just get a little bit of a jump, and Van Efferen had to try to make it up, which he did down in turn two.
Yep. See that big Cooper tires launched up there. That's as they're coming towards you. Van Efferen, multi-turn there. Beyond red line, Balin Buildings. Power Sports wants his motorcycle dealership. He sponsors several drivers out there. He doesn't even throw it on his sponsor list. That's what I know. Your things are going right. You don't even have to put your own shop on the sponsor list.
And we're watching the drivers. You can see that the slick, shiny stuff on the inside, they're having to chase the cushion around. But what will happen is the cushion will eventually get so high. And I love the line that Luberg is taking. He just shoots across and making time on the entry. But Katie's got a couple more pieces, a couple more things for us to look at. Katie?
Yeah, it was interesting in the pit box earlier with the Bikeman team. They went in 1, 2, and 5, and they were just really pumped about their mods. They felt like they could control the pace for the race when they were up in the front, and that was something that was different that we saw out of them that we hadn't seen much before this in this season.
Yeah, they're definitely starting to build momentum. The one crazy thing is when the bikeman's entries are is Travis Pointer. I mean, he wears the number 1. We haven't seen the defending champion in the front in a while.
Ronnie Van Efferen massively sideways and does a great job saving it as he comes down through the high-speed S-turn before the big Cooper tires jump. So came off the second jump completely sideways, was able to gather that thing back up. And the difference between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is that when it's sideways, you turn into the slide, meaning turning away from the inside, and you're able to just power your way through. But that inside line has not come around yet where we're watching the guys use that, but now we see in third place, Chaney is starting to catch up to Luberg a little bit.
Schultz in the 832, the man who's made the most moves in this race. Drew Schultz, 18th where he started. He's up into 8th place right now. He's made 10 passes, so he's a guy to look for. We still haven't made that halfway point. He's already up to 8, so look for Drew Schultz in that 832 to start sneaking in the picture here in the back half of this race.
Yeah, we're on part way there. We're at lap 4 of 8, but we're still running. We're going to get the yellow flag next time by. But what's awesome is that you see 3 different manufacturers out there, a Yamaha, Polaris, and a Can-Am, and they're all pretty evenly matched. So the rules that USAC put together for this is great because it keeps the parity very close.
And one thing also to notice, even if your vehicle came stock with a turbo, if it's a turbo, you have to run pro mods instead of stock.
Exactly. And that's why now we see Chaney looking to the inside again, trying to find his way around Jason Luberg. So the race right now is for second place.
Kyle Chaney, Can-Am, XPS Oil, CT Racework. Out of Ohio, the 891 currently in third.
Channing going outside, back to the inside. If I had to pick between the way it's working right now, Robbie, it seems like Channing's got a little bit more. She handles down the straightaway, a little more straightaway speed, but Luberg handles a little bit better over the bumps and in the short track stuff. So watch Channing looking around, and then Jason Luberg takes a straight line in here and heads straight for the jump, as you'll see him shoot into the picture, and then here comes Channing right behind him. So trying to scrub and go around the outside, try to avoid that jump up and down. We should be seeing the yellow and red.
Yeah, I'd be taking a little easier right now if I was Rodney Van Eperen. Let things cool down just a bit. You just never know. Bolts back off, things happen, but Rodney Van Eperen cruising to that first half lead. But 1, 2, and 3, you can see some separation between those three guys, and fourth, Zach Zakowski in fourth place. And Zakowski's worked his way up from 10th up into fourth, so he's made 6 passes as well. So maybe Zach knows it might have been a pretty good gap at that halfway, but I'm going to start nose to tail with those top 3, so don't count out Zakowski.
Well, and also we talked earlier in the show how Channing has been second, and now he's third, and he's been gaining on Luberg. So we could possibly see him get another second place. So
surely
it is, but he's definitely got his sights set on those 2 in front of him. So look for Channing. He seems to be the guy on the move at this point.
Yeah, but Jason Luberg does look fast in that bike performance. GBC tired Polaris listed in second place. Again, our time and scoring, I wish I could get you who does have the fastest lap. It's not quite right on our end as the official times, but it looked like Van Eperen might have about a half a second advantage over Cheney as it stands right now. Kate Osborne?
Well, as it stands as well, just as something to note, Kyle Cheney's actually first in points too with all of those seconds. So him right now getting around and getting into second position or first for that matter would be huge, as Rodney Van Eperen is right now in second, trying to do all he can to take that top spot.
That's right, Kate. We will be taking the green flag the next time around. The finish line and the other flag tower are 2 different areas. The start flag tower and the restart flag tower is up at the top of the hill. Finish line's down at the bottom in front of the stands.
Well, we've seen Luberg get a hole shot earlier. Can he snooker Van Eperen and mix it up in turn 1? So he's going to watch him try to shoot to the inside.
Right, better get on it quick.
He was a little bit behind the gun, and Rodney Van Eperen with a great hole shot.
Yeah, I got about a 2 or 3 UTV lead. But again, that right-hand first turn downhill could get interesting. Rodney does take it wide. He's right there on that cushion and drives out of it nicely. Now you're seeing Cheney square it up, go to the inside. Cheney's going to try and get inside of Luberg here. Look at this as they both head into the left. Spotter can say inside, but once you're committed to make that turn, you can't do nothing about it. But Luberg able to hold on Cheney, at least for now.
Well, the way they got the track set up, Robbie, is that it's faster. Oh, and here comes Cheney on the outside. Once again, another power move that we've been looking for. So great move by Chaney to get to the inside, now in second place.
Luberg in third. Zakowski there in fourth. Look at Zakowski. Zakowski's going to be on the outside, but that's a long way around here in Bark River.
But you can see Luberg trying to hold the inside, Zakowski on the outside with a very strong move. He gets around. It looks like something's slowing down Luberg. Right. I don't know, maybe because it is so wide open that anything could be happening. I'm not trying to, be a professor, but I'm going to give you my thoughts is that maybe a belt's getting hot, something, because you're so wide open so much, and the guys with the Yamahas can grab the next gear. But the Can-Am has a centrifugal clutch as well, so it doesn't seem to be having any problem. But this is not normal for Luberg to be going backwards. He's been always one charging forward.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he quite had the power he might have once had a little earlier. So something may be going wrong on the negative side for Luberg, but now you have Zakowski up a spot, Cheney up a spot, so Van Eperen might get some pressure. We've seen pressure before. He's dealt with it every single time. We've seen it in Chicago. We saw it at Crandon, and he's still been able to hold off the closest competitor. Can he do it again here at Bark River? Rodney Van Eperen out in front. Let's get down to Kate Osborne. You have more on Mr. Luberg?
Jason Luberg was running so well there. I just asked the spotter, what's going on. He says he actually has no radio, so he doesn't actually know what's going on. However, he did say the timing chain had busted earlier as a fluke, and that was something they were trying to fix. They thought they got it all sorted out, so maybe that is something that he's working through right now, something that has to do with that.
Maybe a timing issue or something, maybe something slips.
Because it looks like it's losing about 5% of the horsepower, so he's still fast, he's still running strong, and that's what we're watching right now, Jason Luberg. As you can see, he's still running respectable speeds, but normally he's the one charging forward at this point, not falling back. And you can see as the guys coming to the inside, very, very tight battle for 4th and 5th.
Second, third, and 4th is close as well. Look at that. Still, Cheney, Zakowski, and Luberg. And we say this, and we talk about these three. Rodney Van Epperen's checked out this lap. At a half a lap, he's gained at least a second and a half.
Yeah, Rodney Van Eperen, was he holding back and running smooth? But once again, Cheney in second place has been right there. So the thing is that I point out, and I keep repeating myself, is that you have to run on the gas so hard if any small thing happens. And here we're seeing 1 and 2, but Cheney is right there behind him. So he's using his lines, and hopefully he can try to make up a little ground, find a weak spot in Rodney Van Eperen, but I don't see one yet.
Yeah, earlier I think I was seeing 3rd, 4th, and 5th, not 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, because you're right, Cheney isn't too far behind. I also saw Tim Farr moving into the mix in his Can-Am. He's up there around that 5th or 6th range. He started back in 9th place, and Tim Farr starting to make the move, the man who sits 3rd in points behind Cheney and Van Eperen. Well, how much do you want to win right now if you're Cheney? I mean, all those seconds, but Kyle Cheney not here racing for a second. He wants to win.
Absolutely. He's giving 100% there. You see him. He's running hard coming down through what they call the graveyard turn. Pushes, gets a little bit wide, loses a little bit to Rodney Van Eperen there. But he does. He wants to win. No one wants to be the bridesmaid all the time. You want to be the bride. You want to be the one that stands up there. So if he's able to catch Rodney Van Eperen, and this could, we're looking at the championship race right now for 1st and 2nd. So Rodney's got to do what he's got to do, but Cheney has to keep pushing. As you see him swap back and forth.
And 14 points separate first from second, Cheney over Van Eperen in the championship points hunt. Do you wait till that last round in Crandon to really throw it in there and make contact if you have to? Because right here, you do that, you take yourself out of the picture, and that 14 points is gone in a blink.
Well, in a racer's mind, you get a shot at it, you take a swing. You don't take anything. If I was going to be a spotter for any of these guys, I would tell Van Eperen to open up his line a little bit, and I would tell Cheney to close it up a little bit. He seems a little bit too much out in the cushion, and Rodney Van Eperen seems a little bit too low. So you watch as we come around here, you'll see Cheney to the outside, and there's the white flag.
And going that next time around, you can almost guarantee that Rodney Van Eperen's going to go to that inside and say, if you're going to pass me, it's going to be the long way around. So you've spent 7 laps watching this man. Now it's time to try and make a pass. Easier said than done. Rodney Van Eperen out of Freedom, Wisconsin. Maxxis Tired Yamaha Motor Corporation, Yamalube entry is out in front. Not much of an advantage. You see that little brake light, he taps it, probably trying to keep it a little lower on the ground, but a little upset vehicle of Kyle Cheney there.
And Cheney gets a run through the S-turns and gets a little bit closer, so this could be it.
Yes.
See Cheney making up some ground. If he can clean up these last lines, he has a shot at him, Robbie.
And he's diving in and again trying to go a little bit lower than the guy in front of him. And here's another turn to the inside, but if you choke it down, if you go too slow, but now he swings wide. Now he's going to have more exit speed. If he can drive around and maybe start cutting down, he's going to be a little faster here. Watch this as they hit the jump one more time. Kyle Cheney's going to be on the outside. It's a long way around, and it's way too long out there.
A little too wide, and I think that was the race right there. We see another guy getting pulled in, but these two guys going at it. The race is not over yet.
No, there's still 3 left-handers left. Inside, Cheney sticks the nose in there. Van Eperen's around that outside the cushion. He's going to need to chop the nose here. He does so. Van Eperen, he actually got on the brake there. Brake check for just a tad. He's going to go low here, or just enough to close off Kyle Cheney, and Rodney Van Eperen wins again, his 5th win in the Pro Mod UTVs. And guess who's second? You got it, Kyle Cheney. Zach Zakowski, a strong finish. He's going to finish in 3rd unofficially. A good run by him. Zakowski started in 10th, and he makes the podium on that final lap. So what a race in the Pro Mods. It was down to the wire, but Rodney Van Eperen comes through again.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
A little bit dry now, but they're going to prep the track, throw some water down to it, and get ready for the big trucks. The Pro 4 is going to be up here in just a moment, but an excellent race in the Pro Mod UTVs. Robbie Floyd, Ricky Johnson to my side, Kate Osborne down trackside. And it has been an excellent day of racing, a tremendous amount, some of the best sportsman class racing I have seen in the past 4 years I've been coming here to Bark River. And the same thing in the UTVs, kind of Yamaha showing their dominance once again, and all the good-looking people came out today as well.
You know what I love about the UP is they are not afraid of neon. It doesn't scare them off. They're not afraid to bring it out there one time and just run her there.
Absolutely. look like me in 1992 with the pink Honda, pink Honda gear. You're not afraid to sport the day glow yellow or red, then
or pink.
Yeah, Pink Floyd. What do you? That's where I got it. Cooper Tire jump there, big part of the action here, and we're going to see some Cooper tires lined up in the Pro 4-wheel drives here in just a moment. But 8-lap race, the Pro Mod UTVs, and nary a change for the front position. Once Jason Luberg dropped back from that pole spot, Rodney Van Eperen just checked out after that first turn, and but a lot of pressure from Kyle Cheney.
Well, and I love that Cheney didn't sit back and
right,
just watch. I mean, he was trying inside, outside. He was trying everywhere. It looked like that Van Eperen's chassis and suspension was working a little bit better. Obviously, he's got age.
There he is. It looks like he's set up well, and it might as well be a recliner for Rodney Van Eperen. He's just been putting that bad boy on cruise control, it seems like. Kate Osborne's with him.
Yeah, another win for Rodney Van Eperen, but Kyle Cheney didn't make it easy for you there, especially at the end. You had to work your way for that win. You were cruising through the pack initially, but here you were. What could you have done a little bit differently and maybe better?
I have no idea. Someone needs to tell me that. They're right on my heels all the time. I need to put Cheney a little bit behind me so we can gain some points on him. It's only 2 points between first and second, but most of all, I got to give it up to all my guys. There's a bunch of people from Yamaha and Yamalube here. It's awesome to see the manufacturers getting involved in this thing and just reward them for all they do for us and show them, hey, we can put these things on top of the box. I can't be thankful enough. We got Power Sports 1, Yamaha, Yamalube, Johnny Greaves Motorsports, All Terrain Communications, Luke at Beyond Redline. We had this thing on the dyno again this week. He just keeps eking more horsepower out of this thing. All my guys, my mom, my dad, my wife, my kids, Hutch, Chad, Winkler, everybody. This is awesome. This is what we come here and do. All the guys from the race department at Yamaha, Steve, Glenn, Donnie, everybody. Thank you. This is awesome.
Rodney Van Eperen is all smiles with that win here today.
And he could claim to be the fastest in the house. I heard Owen, his young son, didn't win in the small carts earlier, but his dad did. Rodney Van Eperen takes the win unofficially. Cheney, Zakowski, top three. Barr did move all the way up. Where did he start? Way back there. Tim Barr started in 9th, actually caught up into 4th. Luberg dropped back to 5th, and he was a front runner there for the longest time. Let's send it down to Kate Osborne, who's with Kyle Cheney.
A big power move for Kyle Cheney to get it into second, but I do have a question for you. How do you like number 2 at this point? I think we're now at number 7 or so for you.
Yeah, I don't like it very much. I started in the 3rd row, and it took me a while to get up to Rodney, and by the time I got behind him, I was kind of paying attention to where he was going, and I felt like I might have been a little faster, but I just his lines were too good for me to get around. I tried to make a couple attempts there on the last lap, but I didn't want to sacrifice both of our races. So, I mean, it was a good run. Yeah, I had fun. My car was working good. my car was working great. So our Can-Am worked great today. You know, I wish I could have put it on the number 1, but we'll settle for number 2 for sure.
All right, Kyle Chaney, second place here. You can tell, guys, that he definitely is itching to get on top of the box.
Yeah, but if you look at the season-long standings, he is on top of the box, and now a 12-point advantage over Rodney Van Epper, and Zach Zakowski helps himself 1 point ahead of Tim Farr now, up into third. And speaking of Zach Zakowski, he finishes third in this race, and that's his best finish of the season. After 4th and 5th, he finally cracks the podium. Kate Osborne's down with Zach Zakowski, who's now third in points as well.
Yeah, best finish of the season for him, and you had to work your way through the pack there. You definitely had a car that was working well. For you, how comfortable were you in it today?
Surprisingly, this is the most comfortable I've been all year. I felt great. Our setup was finally on point. We fixed some stuff that was broken. I mean, it was great. I finally felt comfortable to run with Rod and Kyle, and it was a lot of fun, actually.
You can see the smile on his face there for sure. And actually moving up third in points, I get to say it's a big day for him.
Straight performance. I guess he's trying to show some props to his feet. He's a big boy too. I mean, he's got a lot of he's on the opposite end of the low COG. He's got a lot of high COG. We'll see Zach Zakowski in the next round right here at Bark River. You know who comes up next? That's right, the Pro 4-Wheel Drives at Bark River International Off-Road Raceway when we return.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter. So count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
I'm not Mr. Rogers, but it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood here at Bark River, Michigan. Like I did that, Ricky Johnson. Ricky, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and it's a beautiful day with that cat equipment down there, reworking this track, making it look nice and purty for the Pro 4-Wheel Drives coming up here in just a moment. So the UTVs can do just a little bit of damage. We're about to put a lot of damage to this track, a lot of horsepower.
Just throwing 900 horsepower in the 35-inch tires. It is awesome when as much equipment, because this is new. They haven't had this much in the past. They had a lot more equipment from Cass. So you can see the big tractors working the berms. You see the big scrapers moving the dirt around. And the first couple laps, man, it is unbelievable because you are so hard on the gas. You come through the corners, especially through the graveyard corner. You throw it in, you land completely sideways, and you're completely to the forward all-wheel drive, and you're just turning the wheels forward and back a little bit, carrying that slide all the way around. So there's no place in the world that you drive more aggressive than the first couple laps in the Pro 4 at Bark River. Now as it starts to get pushed off, you chase the cushion up for a certain amount of time, but then all of a sudden that becomes so far that the slow slick line down low, which I mean slow, you're going about 4 miles an hour slower, but becomes the quick way around. So it's going to be the guy that can chase the track in the direction that it wants to be raced in and not just the cushion all the way up. But I'm looking for some great racing because we've seen Ross Hook get out there. He's been so impressive on those opening laps.
Great starter lately. Yeah, great starter.
He gets out there and gets mixing it up. And then, but we have Chad Hort who lives right down the street. So, and then there's those. What are those other two?
The Greaves kids.
The Greaves family.
Well, one's not a kid. Yeah, one's not a kid.
No, and I don't want to throw out Scott Douglas as well. I mean, everybody.
Sure.
Of course, I'm making a joke about the Greaves family. I've got to race with them. I've got to watch CJ grow up and become an unbelievable champion. We saw him earlier in the UTV doing what he does.
Yep.
And that's winning.
And
so,
and you talk about the local things, and the local knowledge from a lot of these drivers and the Greaves and all these guys. A lot of these guys live up here. They turn many laps here. But one track that we're about to go to is Redbud. It's known for its motocross race. Redbud.
Yeah.
But you've been there before as a driver. But that was it. It's been a while since we've been back, but we're coming back. What is it, August 12th and 13th? Take a look at this. I personally can't wait to go to Redbud.
We're coming back to Redbud. I haven't been back here since I've won Pro Light Championship. It was one of my favorite tracks. It got very technical, and it definitely taught me to round my skills.
Hey guys, super excited to get back to Redbud. Really tight, technical, rooted up ground, big jumps.
Hey, I mean, Redbud is known for motocross, but last time we were there, we put on quite the show, and the track's crazy, provides great racing. We're in and out of the woods, over the hills.
With Redbud being such a tight technical course and all the trees, trading paint's definitely a risky maneuver. If you get offline, you might end up in one.
It's awesome. I mean, it brings you back to the motocross days, and I can't wait to go back.
They don't have the high speed, but they have the elevation. It's going to be a blast.
The fans at Redbud are second to none. You know, I can remember the guys out there with painted chests years ago. A lot of motorcycle history there. We're proud to bring some truck action.
The fans at Redbud are incredible. We get to experience a lot of great people all around the country, but Redbud's second to none.
Redbud's a little bit narrower track. There's going to be a lot of beating and banging, and it provides for a great race all the time.
For everyone, this is going to be a new course, even the guys that are returning and have raced there in the past. So it's going to level the playing field a little bit. It should shake things up, and I'm excited to get on the track.
Hey, we're coming into Redbud to put on a show, so be there and watch this.
And tickets are on sale August 12th through 13th. That's a week before my birthday. And as crazy as it sounds, I've covered motocross races from there, but I've had to do it from a studio off-site. Haven't been to Redbud. And I know in the motocross world, that's the place to be. My brother-in-law from Louisiana drove up to Redbud to be there for 4th of July weekend. It's the same for the trucks. It's a place you need to be there for.
Absolutely. And it's different. You know, as you can see here at Park River, it's a big, fast, like I said before, almost a rally style where it's really high speeds. At Redbud, it gets so rutted up. Sometimes the ruts are so high that you actually flip and the ruts can catch you from rolling over. Or if they're not super deep, you lean into them a little bit, they hold you and flip you. So we've seen some unbelievable crashes. We've seen some great racing and very, very physical racing. So you'll see the drivers, because the elevation change that the drivers were talking about, and then the ruts and everything that comes up. A lot of bumping and banging, so it's going to be an exciting race.
And typically, with the description you're giving me, it's a driver's track. It's not just to hold it wide open and keep your foot pinned, and somebody's not going to be able to drive around you, because you keep your foot pinned, you can put yourself in trouble. And you expect the unexpected when you start getting those berms and those wall berms especially.
Yeah, and what we saw in the pro mod class right now, we saw Rodney Van Emper, and I think his suspension works a little bit better than Cheney. So that's going to be a place where suspension is going to excel. Remember, a long time ago, they used to have it's probably everyone's too young for this, but they used to have a thing called the off-road game, the Ivan Stewart off-road madness.
That was great.
And so when you won and you did good, or you put more quarters in, what happens is you could dial up your suspension or your turbo or whatever. There you have to work on your suspension. You have to work on your setup. The problem is that there's no other track that mimics it. Where are you going to set it up? You can go to Crandon. Some guys have tested there. That works for Crandon and Bark River. And then you got
ERX maybe has a little loamier
that's a sandy. It's a completely different deal. Where ERX was a sand course, very similar to Millville or to Southwick, Mass. When it comes to if you're a motocross fan, but when you get to Redbud, it's a completely different style of driving, and I want to say you drive it more like a motocrosser. You know, you carve the corners, you don't slide the corners, and you can see we have a whole bunch of ex-guys that used to race motocross, so they can get the idea that when it gets muddy and stuff like that, you can't stare down at the rut. You got to look past it. You got to drive around, and it always wants to flip you up, and how you cure that on a motocross bike, you lean more into it.
You can't do that in a truck.
Well,
You're strapped to it.
I have a big head, not just emotionally, but physically.
Your COG's up there as well.
I lean it in and lean it out, and it kind of helps me get around the corner. But no, you have to set your time up, and where you throw it in and how you attack the corner is going to be key. You can't just come in, as Robbie said, you can't just flick it in sideways and hammer the gas, because it will bite you. We saw Ross Hook do a mean flip. I've seen Mark Jenkins go over the rail. I've rolled there too.
I forgot about
I've
that.
rolled up on my side.
Good thing I had my helmet and my shoulder pads.
Exactly. So I rolled up on the side and made a mistake. And
you were a bad mofo then, and the
I
Vision
was.
bad mofo word. Hey,
it wasn't that good of a crash. I would have got the bad, like not good mofo,
Yeah.
but not like a tough guy. I've seen some. That's going to be a hard race to call because there'll be a lot of bad mofo moves there.
Our Vision Wheels Award, though, still now's when we're starting to determine the Pro Lights, Pro 2s, Pro 4s throughout the day. They're the only eligible people.
$10, folks.
We're down
these
to
drivers.
You and I split
these drivers
$240.
get $10. So.
You and I split $240. They get 10, and I put it all in one color and just give yourself on the nose. Number 5. That's what I go for.
The bad
you know
mofo
why?
could win $2,000 if you do well in the casino tonight.
That's true. I picked number 5. That's my number, and you know why?
Red 5.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know why?
Because it's me.
You 1986. That was your racing number.
5.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. You're the man. And, speaking of Red Bud, you have LaRocco's Leap, and now they got the modified LaRocco's Leap. That looks like a pretty big jump there at Red Bud for the trucks. Maybe we need to call it RJ's Leap.
No, I would like that. I would be
Let's do
honored.
it.
I would be honored. So we're just going to do it.
Is it the Ritchie family?
The Ritchie family. We'll talk to them. We'll just call it RJ's Leap, and we'll let them know.
RJ's Launch or something. It's got to be different. Maybe it's got to be something different because of
RJ's
LaRocco.
Jump, RJ's. I don't know. We'll figure it out by then. But what I love about Red Bud is another thing is the amenities. It's such a great place to watch. And for the truck race,
hey, it's going to be hard beating the amenities here.
No.
As I'm sipping on my Slurpee.
Yeah. Do they have a giant Slurpee machine?
It is
don't know.
honestly hard to beat the amenities
we're
here.
throwing it out to the Ritchie family right now.
True.
Work on your beverage routine.
your program, your icy beverage program, going to have to step it up out there, and we're going to be pumping the people, getting out there because it's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to fly into Chicago, drive up there, and I won't complain a bit. I promise you. The Pro 4s are on the starting line. The biggest, the baddest of all the trucks are about to take off here in just a moment from Bark River, Michigan.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged radios, the authority in communications.
Welcome to a beautiful afternoon in Bark River, Michigan. The 7th stop of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. The fans have turned out, and the skies are holding out as well. Still bluebird skies for the most part. They say rain's coming, but we're watering the track. We're keeping this thing prepped and ready for the next race, that it will be the Pro 4-wheel drives. Ricky Johnson to my left. I'm Robbie Floyd. Kate Osborne down getting the interviews trackside. And it's a warm day today. It's supposed to, a front comes through. I guess with that rain, it's going to cool down a little bit tomorrow. That's going to change the track and the conditions as well.
Well, we talked about that earlier. It was a 30% chance at 4 o'clock. It's now obviously well past that. It's after 5 o'clock. It doesn't get dark here till late, man. I feel like Palin saying I can see the Canada from my house here. I mean, Russia, but we're up high, and it's crazy how late it stays light. But as we talked about before, that lake effect, how it changes the weather. They're calling for it, and it doesn't turn one way or the other. But right now, it is a beautiful day for the spectators and the racers.
You see them pulling off the line. Again, welcome everybody watching on TORCseries.com. Make sure you always tune in any time you can. Make sure you hashtag TORC17. Instagram, we're at TORC Off-Road. Facebook, always Facebook/TORC. And YouTube, it's USAC TORC. Again, thanks for watching here online. We have our Toyota Escondido Pace vehicle leading the way out there, and some of the guys here, you see them trying to get on the throttle a little bit, and they're not just playing around having fun. They're trying to find out where a little bit of bite is.
They're reading the course right now, and what they're doing is when you see stock car drivers zigzagging back and forth, what they're doing is they call that cleaning their tires. They're knocking the marbles off because after a yellow they heat up, and then as they roll slow, it picks up little rocks, so they want to clean their tires. Before the race, if you see them going back and forth, they're trying to scuff them and get some temperature down in there. What the racers are doing in TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is they're looking for traction. They're seeing if it's muddy over there, seeing if it's loamy, seeing how much traction there is, because as soon as they go green, in a moment's notice, you have to run high or run low, and you need to know what's underneath you.
There's the finish line. You saw that other flagging stand up the hill. That's where they will take off from. Here, not the land rush start. Right-hand turn, a blind turn. That's got to be spooky too, as they make this right-hander. Spooky making up and taking that right because it's kind of off camber, falls off away from you.
These are off-road racers, Robbie. I don't know if they use a word like spooky. There's nothing that spooks an off-road racer.
So that doesn't bother you. That doesn't bother you at all.
No, it's definitely an area where you get light, and you got to plan way ahead as you come over the top of that, because you land completely sideways, and we've seen some spectacular crashes.
Thanks, Katie. We'll have more on Kyle and his brother Cody. They'll be racing in the Pro Lights a little bit later. But first up will be the Pro four-wheel drives as they're on track, getting ready for the first race. 3 classes today. Let's talk about the particular classes because we'll see the Pro 4s, the Pro 2s, and the Pro Lights. But we're starting off with the Pro 4s. They're the biggest and the baddest. All 4 wheels are clawing, the most horsepower, the biggest tires. Yep, they're heavy, but I mean, they have a lot of suspension under them as well.
Well, and that's the thing. They added some weight to get some parity between the different vehicles, and they run between 700 and 900 horsepower, suspension about 20 inches. When it comes to the weight, they have to be a minimum of 4,100 pounds, but the deal is they have what they call project tire, so they all groove those because these guys side load the tires so much harder than any other vehicle because you have all wheels pulling.
As you see the drivers, find your favorite. Ross Hook will lead the field next to Scott Douglas, Keegan Kincaid, CJ Greaves next to him, Johnny Greaves, Chad Hort. It's actually an inversion. Johnny Greaves leaves the points. He's 5th on the starting line as it stands right now. Chad Hort is going to start back there in the back. He's not a full-time participant, just started back at Crandon, but here we go. Ross Hook's going to lead the field, and a good start just like Crandon. He's out in front. Can he stay that way?
Ross has been unbelievable on the starts, and now we see already Keegan Kincaid moving up into second place, getting past Scott Douglas. So now we see also Johnny Greaves looking to the inside of Scott Douglas as well.
Johnny not waiting, but a little contact there with Scott Douglas. Johnny upsets his truck. Scott takes over 3rd. But you're right, and also with Keegan Kincaid, you're seeing him in 2nd place. A new sponsor, Vision Wheels, on for this week. You know he wants to do well for them. Maybe they come back for the next round, and the next round, and the next round after that. He's finally got this new truck working for the most part. Been having some power steering issues, though.
Yeah, they're working back and forth, but you see Keegan looking to the inside as he tries to get a run on Ross, coming up to the S turn. So right now Ross is in the preferred line, but see Keegan looking to the inside.
Keegan's there, he throws it in, but you're right, Ross is set up, but now Keegan is getting a face full of dirt.
And where is our defending champion? Not our points leader, but our defending champion is CJ Greaves. We can see Johnny Greaves back there. Here comes CJ, so something happened to CJ Greaves. It looks like he got bumped around or possibly spun out. So our defending champion is way in the back, pushing a little bit. We don't know if sometimes when there's contact, you lose a little toe in or toe out. Could be a problem. but luckily for him, there's going to be a yellow, so he just needs to make sure his truck is ready to go when they rebunch him up.
And now you see Scott Douglas and CJ and Chad are the ones that got tied up, and somebody gets pushed off there, but I'm seeing the 7 of Scott Douglas now taking over the lead. Johnny Green's in second. Ross Hook goes from first to third in just a few turns.
Keegan Kincaid, something happened, and you said before that he was having steering issues, so something happened to Keegan that he relinquished the lead and gave it back, and now he's running at about 50%.
Let's go to Kate Osborne.
Scott Douglas right now, who has moved his way to the front from that second place position. His goal today is to drive her hard, stay on pace, click off fast laps, consistent laps, and keep that track as short as possible. Here at Park River, that is extremely important on this long track.
And when he's saying do that, he's taking more low lines. You see him right there, do just that. You can do that in the Pro 4s, but Johnny told me right just before we went on air, he said, when that guy's in front of you, he'll always leave you a little bit more than he wants to. I can always find an underneath line. That's what Johnny's planning on right here.
Well, when you run to the inside, you can see Scott Douglas moving a little bit to the inside. Now Johnny pressing the issue, running right behind him. And now here we see Ross Hook coming back. Let's go, Ross.
Oh, Ross gets into that berm. That might have done something as well, though. But yeah, Ross is not backing down, but he gets into that. Literally, it is a wall on that left side.
And Ross is looking to the inside, getting Johnny Greaves loose. So something happened to Johnny. Hopefully he didn't get a flat tire or bump something up. But Ross Hook, very impressive as well.
Keegan Cade may be fighting with that power steering. He said he had another problem with it today. He thought he had things sorted out at Crandon, even threw a power steering cooler. So going for different size pulleys, trying to fix that, putting a cooler, but something hasn't quite been right, but that's really been his only problem. But when you can't steer, it's kind of hard to drive.
It's a very zoomy truck. What I mean by that is very racy. I looked at it without the body on it. It's very low, everything. Him and his father, Jeff, did a great job with that. But we've got to give props where it's due. Scott Douglas has been looking for a way to the front. Now he's found himself there, and he runs a very strong line. He's been coming here over 20 years. So he knows this, he knows the dirt, he knows everything about it. We see the guys going into a slight push, and now we see Keegan looking at the underside of Ross Hook. But once again, Scott Douglas is running very, very strong right now.
Scott out of El Cajon, California, Amsoil, Rusty's Off-Road, Cooper Tires, Walker Evans, Wheels and Shocks, and we've been waiting for this day. I mean, the Greaves boys, he knows their budget is just there. He says, give me their budget, I'll do it. But he is having to do so much with less. And now you see Johnny on the inside. It's going to be hard to make that pass. You know Scott's got to close him in. And he does just that. But Scott is having his fast race of the season. You and I saw him in Crandon. He was fast. And he got into Johnny when Johnny spun. There's nothing new to do about that. Right now, it's all on Scott's shoulders.
Exactly. He's running hard. We see Johnny looking in, looking out, but now that's going to put Scott on the cushion and give him a little bit better run coming off of turn 1. But now watch for Johnny go for an over-under here. See, we see Scott kind of push him up a little bit.
Kept him there.
And that is helping Keegan right now, who's moved himself into 3rd place.
Great. You know what? Scott Douglas is driving a very wide truck as it is right now. He went wide to wider. He went inside to inside until you're outside. Now I'll go wide. He's driving a wide truck, but it's your job to get mine.
Yeah, but the guys have already run 4 laps, and here we see 3 wide. We see Scott Douglas on the inside, Johnny Greaves looking to the outside, but that's going to open the inside for Keegan. So if Johnny gets too wide here, and we're going to see Scott probably push out just a little bit to try to hold him, but Johnny Greaves with a great move on the outside.
Wasn't going to happen, and Johnny went so hard, and I think finally he said, okay, it's time to go ahead and go the lower line. And he did just that, took over position. CJ still not in the picture at all in that top 4. His son who's in 2nd in points. But Johnny now leads. Scott Douglas in second. Oh, and backing it in. And getting collected by Ross Hook is, Keegan Kincaid. And now Ross is stuck. Ross,
nowhere to go.
He got on the brake, shut down the motor, he put it in reverse. And there comes Chad Horn. We still don't see CJ.
There's CJ down. CJ now just coming to the picture.
And then again, we will have a competition caution. So after lap 5, they will re-rack and restack. I was surprised to see Keegan backing it in that hard. He just threw it in harder than he could handle.
Well, but he also knows that he's coming to the competition yellow, so he wanted to get behind Johnny Greaves and try to get in front of him. So let's take another look at this contact and see exactly what happens. You'll see that CJ just gets a little bit wide coming in. So we see Johnny coming in. There's Douglas now. Keegan comes in, gets too wide, gets to the cushion, and Ross Hook with nowhere to go, and they hit pretty hard. That stops Keegan and Ross very quick, so a lot of damage can be done, but it looks like both are rolling, but we don't know how those trucks handle.
Yeah, Ross, oh no, in the left, broken there, and don't know if that's the wheel off of the hub possibly.
Yeah,
all together, and that's where he made contact. I mean, it was one of those oh no moments because he was coming in so hard, and he's going, oh no! He squeezed probably the handle wheel almost in half. His foot almost went through the firewall. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, a tough break for Rossock, doing a great job. Now we see Johnny out in front. But the thing here, Robbie, is that you want to fight so hard to get in the lead because you're getting filled up with dirt. The roost here is unbelievable. Even though they have mud flaps, you can see Johnny's are kind of pushed off to the side a little bit. But so he's just taking it easy, letting his truck cool down because he was eating so much roost. He wanted to make sure that he tries to keep those radiators clean, even though they're in the back.
All right, as you see, Johnny Greaves making a right-hand turn, hit that double one more time, a considerable lead now, but it's all going to go away because the competition caution is about to come out after this left-hander. Johnny Greaves had to work his way up through the field. He did just that. And he leads at the halfway point. Scott Douglas is going to be second. Keegan Kincaid in third. Horde and Greaves rounding out the top 5. Let's go to Kate Osborne.
The highs and lows of the racing here. CJ Greaves right now has his left front is low on air. Meanwhile, Johnny Greaves is right now working on right after those 3 singles up to the flag stand. That is where he's over driving, and he's trying to right now work on not being too aggressive in that position.
So we'll find out on CJ if the left is low. Is it something that they need to change? Is that the only damage? Is he having steering issues? There's a lot of what ifs out there, but he knows he's going to start relatively close to his dad, but he only has 5 laps to make the pass or even get up there in a podium position because right now Scott Douglas is driving exceptionally fast and he's in front of it.
Well, and he also has Chad Horde and Keegan, but we do not see Scott Douglas. We see Johnny, Keegan number 2, and right behind him, Chad Horde number 9, which we haven't been talking about, Chad. He was mixed up with CJ in that early debacle in I think in turn 1 or turn 2. So let's keep an eye on those other drivers. And now, and here we're seeing Douglas all the way back in 5th, so he might be back in the pit.
You're seeing the Maxxis tired Toyota driver, Johnny Greaves, number 22, the Wisconsin boy, leading here in Park River, Michigan, ahead of Keegan Kincaid, Chad Horde, and his son, CJ Greaves. A lot of drama for pretty much the entire field. I mean, even Johnny has been in that, making contact with Scott Douglas. Keegan Kincaid dropping back, spinning, still holding on to second. Chad Horde and CJ getting into it in the first half of this race. But now it's time to race the final 5 laps here at Park River in Pro 4-wheel drive.
And you have an angry CJ Greaves and Chad Horde who watch from the outside in the back where they got spun around. And here we see Chad Horde shooting to the inside of Keegan, and he pulls it off.
Yes, an excellent pass by Chad Horde. This is his backyard. He's from Park River, Michigan. Keegan loses a spot. CJ now tries to go to the inside. He was actually able to make that double from the inside, something I haven't seen much today. But the last time we saw CJ Greaves, he was angry at his dad because his dad actually made contact with him and cost him the race. Right now, Chad Horde is a man on the mission trying to catch up with Johnny Greaves, and Kate Osborne has more.
It was interesting. Chad Horde knows this place like the back of his hand, but it was interesting what he said. He says you have to respect Park River. You can really lose it in the high speeds here. He said he personally has taken some of the biggest tumbles in his life, but clearly it's his hometown track and he feels comfortable here. Plus he got some of those gremlins worked out from Crandon that he felt like he needed to get out before he got
Whoa, there goes the GoPro. Excellent shot. I think we're going to see that for years to come. Johnny Greaves still leading this one, and Chad still in second. And just taking some different lines. Sometimes you drift to the outside. Scott Douglas is back on track. You saw him up near the front earlier. He's back out there, but not in this 4-man battle for the win.
Well, Johnny Greaves loves this because he has everybody behind him fighting for position. So it's one thing to be out in front like Johnny is, almost fell off the chair here. Like Johnny is, and you can run your own lap, and you're not worried about inside or outside. You just run as fast as you can. But the guys behind him have to find a clear way around, trying to stay out of the roost, and also trying to find a way around the guy in front of him. So you got three guys, three young, aggressive drivers battling for second.
And Johnny's not so young out in front, and the old man showing him how to get it done. And the thing is, Johnny had some mechanical concerns, let's say that, back at Crandon. The motor just wasn't there, especially when he comes out there initially. Kind of a boggy feel. It just wasn't cleaned out. They made a spark plug change and a few other changes, and he thinks he's got that motor where he wants. CJ runs carbureted. Johnny runs fuel injection. You would think they would be on the same program, but they're not.
Now you see back there for third and fourth place. Now you see CJ Greaves with the red number 33, and how far Keegan Kincaid jumps down that hill. So Keegan seems to be the fast guy, but he seems to be making more mistakes, getting off the edge, to the left, to the right. I don't know. We don't know how many tear-offs he has, how much dirty ate at the beginning, or if he's having those steering issues that's stopping him from holding his line exactly where he wants to be. But right now, CJ's completely blind.
And even Keegan had problems back in the last round in Crandon with a fuel pickup as another camera goes.
That's number 2 for CJ when it comes to go. Oh!
And a nice slide job. What a move by Greaves. He put himself into position to make that pass if a mistake was made by Keegan, and that's exactly what happened.
But we're seeing a lot of mistakes by Keegan in the middle of the corners and stuff like that. True. So that goes to tell me that when he goes to correct, the steering's locking up on him. These are hydraulic systems, and so they have a steering rack. And what happens is if you have trouble with the flow, or if you have a problem and a hiccup, what happens is you can turn into it, but then going back to catch it, it seems to be biting Keegan Kincaid. So that's what we're seeing.
It's not like rack and pinion steering or like steering back in the 50s, where it's just consistently hard the whole way, and the faster you go, the easier it is to turn. When you have power steering that's causing problems, you can turn and it stops. Turn, stops. Oh, we've got a caution coming out. Or no, that's not the case. But it stops, and then it turns. Then it stops, then it turns. You were fighting your steering wheel off and on throughout that one motion. Let's go to Kate Osborne.
That Keegan Kincaid right now is battling is the fact that he has never actually driven a Pro 4 on the track here at Bark River. On top of that, he's never been in a manual transmission in a Pro 4 on this track right here. So he may also be having some of his gremlins that he's working through with his truck, but really he's also just trying to get comfortable in there as well.
And one thing also, Ricky, and I went to say it, I'm not sure if I did, he had a fuel pickup issue at Crandon where at times the pickup was moving up. So he would give it gas, it'd be there, and then sometimes it wouldn't. So he's had some problems. It is a brand new truck, but barring that, you still have the transmission that I think he really likes. But, power steering and that fuel pickup, I mean, he's got to get them dialed in pretty quick.
Well, and Keegan's a driver. I love this about him. He's a young man now. He's not a kid anymore. If driving Robbie Gordon's series or driving Pro Light, Pro 2, it doesn't matter. He's a gamer. He jumped in Mike Jenkins' truck, a Pro 4, and I think he was at second his first time out and almost won and led most of the race. So he's a racer. He doesn't make excuses, but they are developing in that truck as we're watching the race for second place between CJ Greaves and Chad Hort.
And we talk about Keegan this year. He's not finished outside the top 3, right? Right now, he is outside the top 3. And we're starting to see more pressure from CJ. Look at that blonde-haired devil, the 33 of CJ squares it up. Look, he's going to get a good drive to the inside. But watch really this left hand. That's going to be the big determining factor. It really set him up there because Hort opened the door and CJ's there to pounce.
He's leaning on it, but that's the one thing when you're racing Pro 4 is that if that was a Pro 2, he would have had him. But you're able to have all 4 wheels pulling, and Chad is not a South.
It's a great race, Ricky. It's a great race. That 2s or 4s. CJ set up, watch him shoot straight across, but Hort is who's in position in this left-hand turn. If he goes wide, he takes him out of it, but he doesn't. He gave him the room.
Chad Hort, that's a nice guy right there.
You would not have done that, Ricky.
No,
White flag's out. One more lap to go in this 10-lap final.
That was I can't believe that he gave him that it's outside like that. But hey, he's a racer. He's a great guy. One of the sweetest men you've ever seen. But a killer behind the wheel. But right now, CJ is chasing down the guy that he's racing for the championship, and also his father, Johnny Greaves, out in front and enjoying every second of it. But knows, guess what he heard on the radio? CJ's in the second. We're go.
Yeah, Johnny's got a pretty good advantage right here, though, over CJ Greaves, the Lucas Oil machine of Chad Hort back in third. I'm not sure that Johnny really have to have some kind of mistake, because that's a full second. I don't know that CJ's that much faster than Johnny.
No, right now Johnny seems to have a very good line right now, but CJ is trying to make up some time. If he had a couple more laps, I think he'd be fine, but he's going to have to do it in 2 turns, and I don't think it's going to happen unless Johnny gets too protective, which I've had races with him where he's done that. And right now you see CJ using the cushion, trying to get a run on it.
Hey, it's going to be close.
It's going to be close. This is going to be the determining factor right here, and both of them doing identical.
A little bit of a bobble there from Johnny. CJ doesn't have to do the opposite. Hoping Johnny goes wide. CJ, oh! And this could be big. That right rear's got to be tore up. Has to be in one way or another, at least out of position. But thank goodness he did it on the last turn. And Johnny Greaves goes back to back, extends his points lead. CJ salvages second, but they've got work to do on that truck before the next round of TORC. And third place is going to be Chad Horde, Keegan Kincaid, Scott Douglas is going to finish in the top 5. But what a run by Johnny Greaves coming into that last few turns. Johnny out in front. CJ had to do something different, and he was on the throttle just a little too much at the wrong place.
Back end steps out right into the wall, but it was all bumper. There was really no wheel, Robbie.
We'll hear from him when we return.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver, and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL, devoted to protection, and by Cooper Tires. We make tires for people, not just cars.
What a beautiful day and what an excellent race of Pro 4-wheel drives we just witnessed with Johnny Greaves coming out on top. As the fans head toward the Adult Beverage Center just behind there. Great facilities here at Barker River. And an excellent day as it stands right now. Those flags are blowing. Nice, but blue skies mean good things here, Ricky.
Yeah, definitely. We thought for sure we were going to see rain, but it looks like it has passed us. Could be here tonight. Could be here tomorrow morning. We do not know for sure.
I think it's raining over there.
Yeah, it's raining for sure. That's what we're looking to the west. But it's awesome how much cat equipment we have out here and how quick these guys can prep the track.
What a race in Pro 4-wheel drives where Johnny Greaves goes back-to-back, taking his third win of the 2017 season, extending his points lead over his son CJ Greaves, but it came down to that last lap and literally the last turn to take the victory. Let's go down to Kate Osborne, who's with the winner, Johnny Greaves. He did this back in 2011, Kate. I mean, he's done it often since then as well.
He's done it often, but I gotta say that one seemed to probably be one of the most physically tiring for you. How challenging was it?
Oh man, that was a handful. You know, in the beginning, just chasing Ross and Douglas and Keegan and all the roost, and you know, by the time you cleared your shield, you were a couple car lengths out, and you just fought to get back in there. And then when I finally did take the lead, I had ate so much roost, my temperatures were getting warm, and you know, we got the yellow, and it brought it down to, you know, like 230, which is manageable, and went back up there. But I knew CJ was coming. I'm like, just keep track of CJ, and he's like, holy crap, he's on you last turn. I'm like, not this again. I didn't give up last turn this time.
Now, unfortunately for CJ, that didn't work out quite so well, but for Johnny, he ended up on top here in Pro 4. 2 in a row, as a matter of fact.
That makes 6 wins since 2011 in Pro 4-wheel drive for Johnny Greaves. He's the 3-time Pro 4 champion as we look at the unofficial results. And CJ, I mean, good thing they had that competition caution because he needed that to close up on the field, but then he started picking them off one after another. I mean, give him another lap, and he might have won this race. Right now, he didn't catch up with his dad, but he caught up with Kate Osborne.
I hit the wall.
And right now,
Lifted over there. I was either going to take us both out or it was going to be a battle.
that is what he's talking about with the little discussion one-on-one with Johnny there. I mean, CJ, we could literally take a tour around your truck right now and see some of the issues that's happening. From your perspective, how would you describe that race?
You know, right in the beginning, I was checking up to stay out of somebody, and I was trying to stay out of the tire at the same time, and Chad was underneath me already, and we ended up getting together, and there I was, once again, starting last at the halfway. So we just kept moving forward halfway through the race, and after we thought we had a front flat, so we went in at the halfway and checked the tires, and they are all good, and we're like, all right, it's game on now. So that was everything we had. I think we definitely had a fast truck. We needed a couple more laps, but that's all she had. I mean, where I tagged the wall there on the last lap, I went over that double and never lifted all the way through the corner, and I was like, let's see what happens. They're either going to both crash, or I'm going to hit the wall, or it's going to be a finale. So couldn't do it without all the guys from Toyota, Monster Energy, Maxxis Tires, Mutant Soda, Method Race Wheels, Fox Shocks, everyone who knows Haley out here. It's a sad thing that we lost another one, but we were running her sticker this weekend, and hats off to her and her family, and that's all we can do.
CJ Greaves with quite the race out there. You know, guys, that's what they call off-road racing.
Yeah, Kate, it was definitely a pin it to win it moment. You know, I think some of that goes back to Crandon, where his dad slammed in on him and made contact. CJ was in a I don't care mode right then. He was going to throw it in there, and it was going to happen, or he was going to do some damage.
Well, a few years back, we had a similar scenario, and I was a bad guy for doing that. And I didn't even say that I was going to take him out or something. I just shot to the inside, but it happens.
You see the points there, a 6-point deficit for CJ. Let's go back down to Kate Osborne is with Chad Horde. He does it again, makes the podium in his home track.
Makes a podium in his home track, and he just looked at me and said, that was fun. Chad, why was that so fun for you?
It was just, you know, racing with these guys at that level of speed. You can trust them, you know you can run at that level. And just to be here at my hometown track, my daughter a little bit earlier got a third in her little truck. I was trying to beat it, but I had to tire. But, you know, just to be here with Lucas Oil, Ponzi Forestry Equipment, Maxxis Tires, Fox Racing Shocks, and I just got to thank my crew and this awesome crowd here at Bark River and the good job this Bark River track does.
It's good to see Chad Horde back on the podium here in Pro 4.
Chad Horde, awesome. It's a family event. He talked about his daughter racing, and we saw father and son in this race. But how about brother against brother? We have that scenario coming up in the pro lights a little bit later. Kyle Kleiman, Cody Kleiman, who's going to be the best at Bark River? But it's got to keep it in the family.
I remember growing up, Bark River, hanging on that fence, going to the races. We look forward to that all year and wish, you know, someday maybe I could be me out there. Now we're living our dream.
You know, you idolize that track. It's like, man, one day I'll be there, and you get that opportunity to actually get out there, and it's pretty awesome.
Bark River is a good town. It's a small community that comes together for this racetrack. And it's all volunteer work, and it's pretty special to have something this big and of this category.
It's pretty awesome when you have fans that you're so close with, and you know, we're a pretty big group. You know, it's a small town, but it's a lot of support coming out of the community.
Me and my brother were really competitive all the way through growing up, so just the passion was there, and the opportunity came, and we just started going with it. We raced the four-wheelers at first, and then getting the roll cage a little safer, so we started jumping in the trucks.
We work full-time jobs, so it's not like we do this for a living. That would be a dream come true, and we're always working for that. But you know, I'm getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. During the summer, it gets really busy because then we got to start wrenching on trucks. So it's, you know, you don't leave the shop till almost midnight sometimes, and then you go home and get a couple hours of sleep, and then you're back at it again. It's a lot of hours, but you know, we're committed. It's a passion of ours, so we're really striving for it.
The pressure's there, that's for sure. You know everybody in the stands, and everybody's got an eye on you because they all know who you are. But you just gotta put that away and go focus on what you gotta do and celebrate later.
Well, the Kleiman's trying to keep this race in the family. A nice field set up in the pro lights coming up next. Will it be a Kleiman on top of the box? Kyle's been on a roll. Can he keep it going? Stick with us.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper. An American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
Boy, I wish we had that nice breeze blowing in our studio here because it is getting hot outside, but at least it's not raining. You see dark clouds off the horizon, spraying some water, keeping the track there nice. You see the grader. They don't disc. You know, a lot of people, and myself included, when I come to short course off-road racing for the first time, I wondered, why don't they disc the track? But you talked about that. In a motocross, you disc it, dump it with water, it holds the track, and then you pretty much can let it take care of itself. But here, that's not the case.
Well, and because you're sliding so much, and especially that's it's kind of an unwritten rule. You want to get it so they slide and do a lot of drifting and stuff like that. But I like it when a track gets a little bit rougher because it changes the line. So that typically the favored line gets rougher. Then you move to the inside or you move to the outside, depending on the turn, depending on the situation. Let the condition dictate the position on the track. Try to say that, bam, at ya.
The matter in question, per se, Your Honor.
I'm going to say that
and they're doing that and they don't really touch the jump. They touch the berm there and try and make that kind of even because you don't want them rolling off the edge of the track there, but also you don't want big holes or ruts going into that turn.
Well, yeah, the integrity of the dirt, once you build the jump, it's been rained on, it's been it's been sitting over years. If you start breaking that hard crust, then what happens is the jump falls away. And you can see right now to the left where the drivers land with the throttle on, it starts to take that down. If you get it too soft, it's going to deteriorate really bad. A lot like what we saw at ERX because it's more of a sand-based track. But honestly, I love it when the condition dictates the race. You know, you're not just one line.
Did you? All right, I'm going to go from motocross racer to truck racer. I know you had NASCAR stuff or cars.
It's not mentionable, so we can just move right on that.
So what was it like for you because you did have to physically deal with all those track analyzation things? Did you have a totally different mindset when you went to the trucks because you didn't have the physical body manipulation that you did on the bikes?
Well, and you learn quick. You know, we've seen guys like Jimmy Johnson come from, he did motocross when he was a kid. We see the climbers that have raced. Luke Johnson's raced a little bit of motocross. CJ did really well. Johnny was a ranked pro, raced Supercross as well. You learn to spot the little nuances in the dirt. You look for the traction. You look for where the blue groove starts to come in. You see rocks coming up. You start to look for traction and find ways around. But what you don't want to do is stare at it. What happens a lot of times, we'll see the guys do what they call the graveyard. They'll see a hole and they'll watch it. They'll drive to it, and then they panic. Where you see guys like the top guys, they come in and they'll just drive through it. They look past it and they react because sometimes your tire will slide right over the top. Sometimes it'll hook, but you have to let that dictate what you do. And don't prejudge.
How far do you look? Do you look at one area or do you look at big picture the whole time?
I'm looking at everything, and I think a lot of the guys do as well. I was talking with Jimmy Johnson that they did eye tracking on him, and a lot of the better guys they look around a lot. Like myself, if I come over the top of after the finish line, you got that sweeper, you come over sideways. I look to see what's coming up the hill. I look as far out to see what I can see. So my partner who is an operator says don't stay in your holo side, meaning he's a shooter and he's he's been in combat before. When you walk into a room, you don't stare through your sight. You look everywhere, and then you identify what you need to go at, and then get back outside. So the same thing applies in off-road racing: is don't stare in front of you because you might be looking out the side of your truck to find a place to see.
I got you. Okay, now I want to change gears, and Kate Osborne's actually going to grab another gear and talk about what you heard that the Greaves have named their vehicles.
Yes, they have. Okay, so this is interesting. I always find it funny. If I drove anything, I would name it. My name of my car is called Bessie. But anyways, so CJ's Pro 4, they named it Candy. Kandi. Not the typical candy.
I met a few candies.
Okay, but ching. Anyways, he did say that one came from the fact that when they brought out the engine, something happened where it was like, there was an engine tag that read Candy, and from that point forward, that was CJ's. However, on the back end, then we have Johnny Greaves, whose truck's name is Milva, okay? So in their hometown, their local sandwich shop worker, her name is Milva, and they're good friends with her. However, they did say that sometimes she's a little hard to understand, and sometimes she puts a couple of extra tomatoes or pickles on their sandwich, so she doesn't always get it right, but she gets the job done. And that is why Johnny Greaves, his truck is named Milva in honor of their local sandwich shop.
Milva and Candy.
And Milva and Candy.
I've been to a place that I could have swore I've heard those names before. They sound familiar. They sound familiar.
And coming to the stage.
But I got to ask you guys, as we're about to get started here, if you guys have any questions for RJ, for Robbie, for myself, maybe for some of the drivers, send it to us via hashtag TORC17. We'll get your questions answered as best as we can. And I just want to know, RJ, did you name any of the bikes or cars or trucks that you drove?
Absolutely, but I went more with I had a Butch and a Clyde. So those are my two.
Your vehicles were dudes?
They were dudes because I'm going to battle with dudes, and I don't want to worry about Milva putting too much pickles on my thing, and I don't want Candy being moody and not wanting to battle.
Mulva
and Candy. So I had Butch and Clyde because when I drove for Nelson, one they had Arnold. Then the second one was Butch. Then the ABC, they went along that way. So we went Butch and Clyde. So those are my two.
Who was Arnold? What was Arnold?
Arnold, that wasn't mine. That was Larry Ragland's truck when we were at Chevrolet. And I had a couple other names of some trucks.
None that we could say on air.
No. They were all good buddies.
Okay, gotcha. Good deal. I don't name any of my cars or whatever. I'm curious to see what do you think Katie drives? If she were to drive,
I think I talked with her and Tanner. I think they got her. They did a show on her buying a car. I think she's got like not a Prius, but I don't know, a Kia or something like that. She's got something, but
I wonder. Yeah, I have to mine.
Hold on
I don't
a second.
have a name.
Is it time?
Whew, God, it is.
It's time.
Salute, my friend.
The beverages in Bark River
Richie's,
are awesome.
and also the cheese, and the platter is unbelievable. The Richies are going to have to step up their Redbud game. Don't worry, that's just me eating a cracker in the background.
That's right, just a little bit of smacking going on. Don't worry about that. But the cloud cover right now, as you can see, it's getting a little bit darker. That's going to help. Every little bit counts because it's about 70 bad, high 70s, low 80s.
Holds in the moisture though too.
Holds the moisture in and stuff like that. So. Once again, we see the guys darting from side to side looking for traction. But up front, and the guy who's been fast every weekend is Chad Rayford. So we got to keep a look on him because even though Cody's been the guy, there's a lot that can happen between now and now. Cody is back there with old Leper Sean.
Yep, Sean Morris, a guy to look for. And we'll talk about them here in just a bit. Again, thank everybody for watching on TORCseries.com. YouTube, USAC TORC. Checking things out. Ricky Johnson to my left. I'm Robbie Floyd. Good to sit in with the legend. We've already had his son Luke Johnson in the booth. We've had Johnny Greaves, Grant Langston, and now RJ, the man. Toyota Vescandido pace vehicle about to set that pace down this long lap here at Bark River International Raceway in Bark River, Michigan, about 2 hours north of Green Bay. You don't have to be a Youper to know short course off-road racing, but these Youpers do know short course off-road. We're glad you can be a part of it. TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. We're in Bark River, Michigan in the Upper Peninsula, and it's time for the Pro Lights. Lower displacement, lesser horsepower, but also the travel of the shocks, the light duty tires. These are DOT tires for these trucks. The same stuff that you buy at your Pep Boys or your tire center, they are running on there, so it's always a big tire war for these guys. I'm Robbie Floyd, joined by Ricky Johnson, Kate Osborne down trackside. It's short course off-road racing, but this is a long, fast track, and the fastest man has been climbing. Cody Kleiman was quickest in practice yesterday. Kyle quickest today. There's the Leprechaun, Sean Morris, next to Kyle Kleiman. Matt Sork, another one to look for. The points leader is Kyle Kleiman, a 25-point advantage. He's got a full race as a Toyota Escondido pace truck pulls off. We'll see who gets a start. Chad Rayford on the inside, setting the pace in the 29 Kenda truck.
Chad Rayford with a slight jump, but Cody Kleiman is able to hold that. Now and he takes a mouthful of it. Now we see Andrew Carlson in the white truck in the back, and now Kyle Kleiman trying to find his way around. So it's going to be interesting to see how Kyle plays this. He's been the fastest guy. He's been on a roll. Is he going to try to take chances to get up there early, or is he going to be patient right now? He's taking the patient card.
Cam Reimers in the 21 into second place. Driving with well, I don't want to say it's fractured, but it was fractured just a few weeks ago. Cam Reimer is out of Ogden, Iowa. The Cooper Tire liquid wrench entry trying to hold off Kyle Kleiman.
And also we got to throw him a shout out. He was unbelievable when he came up here and worked with you, Robbie. So he was a natural on the mic, and right now he's the guy chasing down Chad Rayford.
And Rayford, he's been strong this year. You've talked about it before, about how he started off the year big, and big bobble there.
Sorry, starting to step on top of you there, but Cody Kleiman getting on two wheels. Now the difference between these, the thing that makes him harder to drive, and we see Sean Morris worked his way all the way back up to fourth with Kyle Kleiman in tow, is that the wheelbase between these, not just the wheel length, but side by side. And now we see Kyle Kleiman looking at the inside of Sean Morris, but that's what gets them, is they get on the bicycle quite a bit.
Driving it out, it's a tire war. You see the Kleiman sandwich with the Kenda tire truck of Sean Morris at 27 in between. A little bit of blue groove on the inside. Andrew Carlson in the mix back there on the 151 as well. Chad Rayford looking strong. He started off the year, the first three races, he finished second twice, had a ninth in between them back in Chicago round 2, but kind of fell on hard times at Crandon with a 6th and an 8th place finish.
Sean Morris, they call him Leprechaun, because he's out there pushing really hard behind Kyle Kleiman. And these are the two guys that are first and second in points, so they got to think about that as well. Here we see Sean looking to the inside, but Kyle has a very, very smooth line, but send it to Kate. All right, we don't have Kate at this time, but we go back to watching Sean. He fell off the pace a little bit, now using the cushion just a little bit.
Sean Morris railing those outsides and just trying to look for a little extra traction and able to drive off that. You don't want to go the long way around, but if you're getting good grip and you can go a little bit faster than those guys on those slippery insides, it'll pay off.
Absolutely. You can see that it goes to blue groove, but right now, Sean Morris, they're working in. Kyle Kleiman has got by Cam Reimers, and now Sean Morris is going to work on him as well. As he shoots to the inside, is he going to get the drive up the hill?
I think that would be the case on that inside as Morris. You're seeing Cody Kleiman, Kyle Kleiman, they're second and third. Now Reimers goes from second back to fifth, and they make contact. Reimers still holds on. I think Andrew Carlson is going to come out a little bit better in that one. At least he closed up a little on the two.
Yeah, Cam Reimers, and I apologize to the Reimers family. I keep calling him Cam Reimers, but I don't know why. It just comes out that way, so apologies there.
They forgive you. Sean really trying to drive in and drive out as hard as he can. One thing Johnny Greaves told me, it was like, not only that the guy in front of you will usually leave you some inside, he said people tend to overdrive this track a lot. They think it's just wide open all the time and just keeping it pinned, doing this. He said a lot of times you'll try and go into a spot in a speed you want, but you'll push it a little bit too much and go a little bit wider.
We've seen that earlier in the UTV race where you try to overdrive the entry and it kills your exit. Here we're seeing Cam Reimers, he's using the cushion, and now we see Sean Morris just on the edge trying to carry as much momentum through the graveyard turn as he can. But I agree with Johnny. A lot of people try to overdrive the entry and it kills your exit.
Past champions of the Pro Light, Kyle Hart, Doug Matag, Jarrett Brooks, Keegan Cade, Brad Lovell, Andrew Cadell, his father here with us this weekend from AIM Sports, dialed in the technology aspect with their electronics.
Here we see Cam Reimer. Cam Reimer is back up into third position, and right now, actually in the second position right now. And
Cody
Rayford doing a great job.
Right, Chad Rayford, Kyle Kleiman, Cody Kleiman, Reimers. Then we have Morris and Carlson. The way it looks like. Actually, I get confused sometime between Reimers. He's got a new color scheme this year. I liked it when he was all yellow. He looked more like Kyle Kleiman, but there goes Reimers. But he's got a more black scheme with that liquid rich. And I'm seeing Cody Kleiman taking a very inside line. He got a lot of buck in that truck.
And here we see Chad Rayford make a big mistake. He swapped, he over-jumped the finish line jump, and Cody Kleiman has put himself up in front, but now Rayford making a battle, and now he's looking to the inside. And watch Kyle Kleiman, what is he going to do? Is he going to take the inside or the outside?
Watch third. It's going to get interesting. Because when you have Rayford battling for that lead, you kind of lose track. And there's a guy behind you that might take advantage of you not being in the right spot as well. Cam Reimer's still in the mix. And one more lap and we'll get that competition caution. Reimer's now starting to pick back up again.
But so impressed with Cody Kleiman. He capitalized on Rayford's mistake and is now holding that line. Oh, we see Rayford comes in, throws a little bit sideways, gets bicycles a little bit, but he ends up bringing it back up there. Now Reimer's trying to get back by.
Yeah, Reimers on that outside is in fourth. He lost a little bit there. The back end came around. I thought Reimers was going to come out in third on that one. But now, Cody, Kyle, yep, keeping it in the family. The Klymans and the Ponzi entries are 1 and 2. Rayford in third. Reimers in fourth. Leprechaun now, man. Reimers into third, but still not backing up. These are two buddies going at it, and it's Rayford that pulls back in third. Just when Reimers thought he had it, he didn't.
Reimers shooting to the outside. He might get a run here. Rayford taking the jump, getting a little bit high. Now watch Reimers go to the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Nope, it is not. It's going to be both the Kleiman brothers with Chad Rayford in third.
One more lap to go, and the competition caution will come out. Look at them. They're still going, because every position is so important for the back half of this race, Ricky.
Well, you want to make sure that you can get up and run with those. Now we see the Kleiman brothers that are sort of running away, while these two, Rayford and Reimers, are kind of dicing and messing each other up. And now we see Chad looking at the, I'm sorry, but yes, Cam Reimer's looking to the inside, but not making it stick.
When you look at the Pro Lights, we've had two different winners this year, Kyle Kleiman, Casey Curry, and now Cody Kleiman's leading this one. He kind of shuts the door a little bit on his brother. Kyle's in the 42, Cody's in the 48. Cody's waiting for that day. It's been all Kyle. You know, in the past 10 races in TORC for the championship, last year and this year, his brother has won 8 of them, and he goes to the inside here and takes over the lead.
Strong movement. He just slides on by. Didn't even put a donut on the side of him. So Kyle Kleiman with a great move. And now what I feel Cody needs to do is watch his brother and mimic his lines. Even though last lap, that's where Cody was. So Cody's actually, they're swapping lines. Kyle went to the outside, Cody's looking inside.
Both of them on Maxxis tires. Again, we talked about the DOT tires in this class. Several guys on Maxxis. We've got Cooper, we've got Kenda tires, but it's going to be the 42 of Kyle Kleiman leads the first 5 laps. He only led one, but it was the most important one going into the back half of this race. Kyle, Cody Kleiman 1 and 2, Chad Rayford in third, Sean Morris in fourth, Cam Reimers in fifth, but any one of these top 5 can win this race. Stick with us for the back half of the Pro Lights right after this.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged radios, the authority in communications.
As the Toyota Escondido Pace Truck pulls off, we are live and ready to go. Fire up for 5 more laps of Pro Lights here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. Stop number 7 is the throwdown in the UP, and 2 Klymans are throwing down right now. Kyle ahead of Cody, 1 and 2, Chad Rayford. The Flying Dutchman dives in, and he gets sideways and collects. He gets into Sean Morris. Morris is now going to take over 4th. Cam Reimer's in a good spot and moves up into the top 3.
Chad Rayford with a costly mistake. Came in, over-rotated a little bit, but his buddy and teammate onto the same 10. Sean Morris was able to get into him unintentionally and knocked him straight. So bad move, but he is able to pull it off. But let's keep an eye on Sean Morris that's in 4th place. He's been moving up the whole time.
Keeping it in the Kenda family right now as Morris moves up 1 spot. Reimer's been up and back. Cody's the one that's actually been caught from behind by his brother. And you see Kyle now really half a lap into this race. He has a 2nd lead. I mean, he was after practice earlier today. I said, good? He goes, yeah, it's pretty good. How good? He said, it's about a 2.5 seconds faster than 2nd place. That's really good.
This kid's a driver. I've been impressed with him. And his brother, I'm not taking anything away from Cody as well. But Kyle right now is in the zone, as I said in the opening, and he just loves going fast, and he's smooth. What I love is that he thinks about it. Now we're watching Cam Reimer's getting into the back, getting to the side, but very, very smooth.
Let's go to Kate.
Kyle Kleiman earlier today, he was like, I'm kind of one of those guys that's like, go with the flow. And he said that works out really, really well here. This track has a really good flow. Each of those corners flow to the next, and once you get good rhythm here, it's easy to make this track come to him. And he said that's one of the reasons he absolutely likes this track, in addition to the fact that it's, of course, his hometown.
Yeah. Backyard for the Ponzi group, Cody and Kyle Kleiman. I'm seeing Cam Reimer's doing an excellent job holding off Sean Morris. Sean looked to be a little quicker there for a moment. That berm's going way up high. I mean, one little bobble and you could fly off the end of the track there.
Yeah, in the finish line turn where we saw CJ in the Pro 4 get his back into that little double was really slick right before the finish line turn. But it's a very, very close race between these guys. But back to Kyle Kleiman, he just gets in a groove, and he's a driver. You know, it doesn't matter what the track is like, if it's muddy, slick, or whatever. But I'm so impressed with the patience. You know, he still has the whole body on his truck. He's not plowing people out of the way. He had to move his brother up a little bit. But that's part of great racing. That's TORC. You know, the TORC series, taking another look at it. We're watching the guys as they come down. Once again, we're watching Cody Kleiman, Cam Reimer's in 3rd place, but their brother out front, Kyle, is doing a great job. Not their brother, but Cody's brother.
Yeah, and we expected Kyle to be out in front. Out of 13 rounds last year, he won 5 of them. I mean, that's consistent. He was the guy to look for in 2017. He might have won that championship over Kyle Hart if he would have raced the first 2 stops, but he didn't, and Kyle come out the victor. But right now, he is a class of field in Pro Lights. But Cody Kleiman, you know, you mentioned, he wants to beat his brother, but I mean, his best finish last year was a 3rd at Charlotte. So him being on top of the box is a goal, but 2nd's not bad either. You kind of got to build into that spot.
No, he would be extremely happy if we saw Kleiman sweep, but we have a driver in the name of Cam Reimers that does not want any part of that. He's trying to mix that up, try to get in there, and you can see he's running left, running right. It's showing that we have 3 laps to go, so there's still a lot of racing.
Let's go to Kane.
The number 21 truck of Cam Reimers trying to get the best finish of his season so far in 2nd. He decided that he was flipping that coin that it wasn't going to rain. These drivers earlier today were posed with the point that maybe their setup should be set up in case it does rain. He said that he had a drastic setup for that dry slick, and it would be good if it's sunny, but if it rains, his setup would be shot. And so right now, Cam Reimers is probably throwing his hands up and saying hallelujah that it's not raining as he's trying to get on the podium and his best finish yet.
He'll be saying hallelujah if he can get by Cody Klein, and he squares it up right there. And yeah, he was set up for the dry track. He said he had a wet setup there to change if it looked like it was going to rain, but he's ready for the dry, so this truck could get better as the laps progress. But right now, I mean, Cody's doing a great job. I mean, I think he is holding it off just a bit, but I mean, when you're talking a 10th here or there, you can't just drive through somebody. I mean, it's hard to make a pass.
Well, I was talking to some of the other guys, and they were telling me about the climates is that they say they have a short course gear and converter,
right,
and then they have a long track gear and converter. So whatever they've got, they found the right thing. And a lot of times, you know, here we see Cam.
Massive hole there.
Yeah, massive hole. You got to watch, because I've gotten 2 flats in that exact same spot, but you can see those guys are pushing out, getting close to the wall. They got to watch that.
Ooh, Sean Morris now starting to sneak his nose into the picture. He wants on that podium as well. A lot of smoke, it looks like, out of Reimers.
I'm just going to point that out. So it looks like Cam has been eating so much rouge, like Johnny Greaves said, it's gotten his vehicle hot, and so he has to back off right now, and you can see it overheating, pushing a lot of water.
Does it sound different?
Well, no, you just look down. If you have an aim system or a dash on the car, what happens is a red light will come on, or you have a temperature. If it gets too hot, it'll let you know. Or if the worst thing happens, you lose oil pressure because you've blown your motor and it's about to stop.
Yeah, it's too late at that point. But yeah, you know Sean sees this. He wants to finish up there on the podium as well. Sean Morris, his best finish is second back at the first Cran in round number 5, but he's finished on that podium 3 times this year. Reimers only once, and man, things smoking more and more, and Sean's ready to pounce.
Yeah, but that's just a product of what happened is that he was eating so much rouge from Cody Kleiman that
oh, he's
great racing though.
Yeah, and neither one of them wanting to back down. I think it's one of those, it's going to burn down. If, you know, the way he's keeping his foot in it, he does not want to give it up with a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, and then Sean is in the smoke screen right now. He's getting a little sauna treatment.
Batmobile.
So now we've seen everything. We've seen Roos, and now we've seen steam actually stop him from going. But it's going to be amazing if that motor can last for 2 more laps.
Yeah, and yeah, the motor builder, he kudos to him for lasting this long. It's been at least a lap and a half. White flag's out. 1 more to go for Kyle Kleiman, Cody Kleiman, Cam Reimers. Smoking all. Oh, it's when you don't see smoke that you kind of worry, and I don't see smoke right now for some reason.
But
maybe it cleaned out. Maybe something flew off and he's getting more airflow through there.
Or there's no water left, and now the clock is ticking. So only Cam Reimers knows what's going on. We're seeing a little bit puff of smoke here, a little puff of smoke there, but it looks like he's starting to slow down a little bit as well. So he's losing some forward drive.
You might be right there, Ricky. When there's no water, there is no smoke. But right now, where there's smoke, there's fire, and on fire is Kyle Kleiman, Cody Kleiman there, Cam Reimers, Sean Morris, Chad Rayford back in 5th. Andrew Carlson, look, he's dropped back to 7th. Don't know what happened to him, and just another unfortunate race for the kid out of Minnesota.
Well, this kid has been up front and ripping every race this year, and he gets better and better all the time. So it's great to see how much he works on the vehicle so he understands it. But this kid can drive. You know, I make a joke that there's no I in team, but there is in driver, and this kid is on it.
Ponzi 42. He's done it 4 times this year in 6 tries. He started off the season with a 6th place. Hey, if that's your worst race all year, things are looking pretty fine. The 42 able to take the win. Kyle Kleiman for the 5th time and extends his points lead. His brother, his best finish in TORC, unofficially in 2nd. 3rd will be the 21 of Cam Reimers at Liquid Wrench. Cooper Tires entry, and 4th will be the Leprechaun Kenda tire truck, number 27 out of Loveland, Colorado. We'll hear from our top 3 when we return.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe.
tires matter. So count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
Tires on the ground go round and round.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by VP Racing Fuels, the official fuel of TORC, and by Atturo, the tire with the style you want and the performance you need.
Well, it's nice now, Ricky. I can't believe it's held on this long. You and I both talked about it. It was supposed to rain at, 5 o'clock. It's still 6 o'clock as this moment, but things are still looking pretty good. And the track workers back to work. They still have the Pro 2-wheel drives. You'll see Ricky's son, Luke Johnson, in that one. Many others as well. It's going to be an exciting race. In the Pro 2-wheel drives, Brad Lovell leads the points championship. Mitch Dorr in second. Luke in third. Eric Ruppel, Mark Peterson, Kevin Hanegraaff, got to look for in sixth in points. Cody Conrad, our biggest field, I believe, of the day for the trucks. Thank everybody for watching on TORCseries.com and sticking with us here. You see the crew out there taking a look, and yep, that's Blue Groove. That's rubber laid down to the track. Gets hard, throwing that rubber down. They will correct that and make it look a little prettier for the next round of TORC. Track's probably going to look a little different at the next round. Ponzi's got to be loving this. It's their backyard, and their boys are 1 and 2. Kyle and Cody Kleiman on top of the box with Cam Reimers in third. Let's hear from Kyle Kleiman, who takes his 5th win of the season.
Another win for Kyle Kleiman in his hometown track. You told me earlier today you had a couple of goals. You wanted to be in the top 3 at the halfway point. You wanted to be smooth, and obviously you wanted to end up on top of the box, but you did just say that was intense. What part of that race was intense?
Yeah, right at first, the track, the crew did a really good job for, how wet it was here and stuff. And, there was a lot of holes developing and getting sprayed with all that roost. It's really hard to catch them since they're dark. And, it was intense trying to move up and pick people off, and it was good, clean racing. That was, that's why I like this class so much. These great people to race with. Big thanks to Ponzi, Maxxis, J&H, Pro Power, Dynamic Torque Converters, Ultra Wheels, everybody. Thank you guys so much.
A guy who last year was doing a lot of chasing, this year clearly defending.
And quite the hipster there with the head sock. You pointed out, Ricky, it's only 95 degrees, but he's still got the head sock on. Kyle looking good, though, on top of the box. Just keeps it going, and he already had a full race advantage coming into today. He's going to have even more leaving this round, heading into the second round. And everything I say is officially unofficial, but when I look back through my stats, Cody Kleiman in second, that should be his best finish in TORC history in Pro Lives. Let's go down to Kate Osborne and find out for certain.
That was actually really quite cool, Cody. You literally just kind of got up on the truck yourself. This is a celebration for you, the second place best finish of the season, proving yourself so much. What statement were you just making?
Consistent, just put some smooth laps in and just finish. And I needed this. This means the world to me. All this hometown work over this is amazing. These Maxxis tires are hooking up great. I can't thank these guys enough. Ponzi, Maxxis, Billy from Pro Power, J&H, Dynamic Torque Converters, and Ultra Racers. Can't thank these guys enough. Thank you. Woo!
A lot of celebrating the Kleiman community here tonight, guys.
And you can see the emotion out there. And, I believe this is his best finish ever. And he moves up a little bit in points. Now only 1 behind Andrew Carlson. Reimers, Morris. We had a 3-way tie for a second, but Reimers moved up 1 spot. But, again, 25 points for a win. Kyle Kleiman is just really separating himself from the field halfway through this 2017 season. But moving up is Cam Reimers. He's not in a tie anymore. Now he's officially into second. He's caught up with Kate.
Yeah, this is a guy who definitely worked for this podium. First, red face sweating, but that's not it. Your truck is doing some crazy things right now. It's smoking. Really, walk us through those last couple laps and what the real issue really was.
Oh, and unfortunately, the track was way wetter than we thought it was going to be. I thought maybe the rain would bring that, but it was wet on 30 tear-offs, and I was out of all of them at competition caution. and just trying to get my hand up. I think I had something for these guys, but I have to take a break because I just couldn't see. And I don't know if I took a rock to the radiator or whatnot, but this McGonigal engine makes a good horsepower, but not when it's running about 400 temps. So we might have to swap this tonight and see what we can do for tomorrow. But I'm really pleased with our speed. Happy for all of our guys, Cody, Andy, Hannah, my mom, my dad, Liquid Wrench, Cooper Tire, Method Race Wheels, SSI Decals, Kicker Audio, and Maxon, Forest County Potawatomi as well. We put in a lot of effort to this deal, so we're going to have a lot of work ahead of us tonight, but we'll be back. I'm happy with our speed. This is what we've been searching for all year.
To say Cam Reimer's worked for that podium is an understatement.
Not to mention he has a broke hand all in the process, but still a successful day. And yeah, McGonigal putting that motor together, and they might have to put another one together to get ready for the next round of TORC. But when you look back here at Bark River, it's not just about the trucks, it's also about the UTVs. We had two different classes, the Pro Stock UTV and the Pro Mod UTV. Pro Stock has been dominated by CJ Greaves. In the 5 races, he's won all 5, and they pretty much did the same thing here today, Ricky. He never was really contested.
Well, he wasn't challenged, but he was kept honest the whole time. The guys were Reek, and those guys were right up behind him, pushing him, but nobody ever got close enough to take a shot.
Adam Reek finishes second, Zach Martin in third. Zach Martin had the pass of the race, but really, CJ started out near the front, took over that spot, and he just never looked back. In the Pro Mod UTVs, it's been Kyle Cheney with consistent second-place finishes, but Rodney Van Effert started in second, made the pass there. He never looked back as well. Tim Barr, third in points. Yeah, he had a respectable finish, but it was really Kyle Cheney, the mover, the shaker, that worked into second.
That's him in the black Can-Am car. He got up close, took a couple shots, but it was Rodney Van Effert that was just consistent the whole time.
But look at this, on the last lap, I mean, it came down to the last few turns. Kyle looked like he had something for him right there, but just went too wide.
Yeah, he's giving it all he's got. He comes in, looks at the inside, but it was Rodney Van Effert, pulls home the checkered flag one more time, and Cheney with another second place.
Zach Zakowski finishes third, so congratulations to those top 3. An excellent race here at Bark River. We still have plenty more racing to come. We've seen Pro 4s, we've seen Pro Lights, we still have the Pro 2s coming up next.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver, and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
It's a beautiful day in the Bark River neighborhood as the Pro 2's getting ready to head towards the starting grid. You see several drivers over there, and you know they probably had some options of whether they had a rain setup or a wet setup as well, but it looks like the weather is going to hold off for us. Only one more race to go. I'd like to welcome everybody that haven't been watching on TORCseries.com, and those of you who are now just joining us on TORCseries.com. It's been an excellent day, nice little breeze blowing, great fan turnout, excellent participation. I mean, this place is really one of those places. Now ERX is in the mix as a place you need to go to. Of course, Crandon, whether it be the fall or the spring Crandon, but the same thing goes for Bark River. You don't have to live in the UP to enjoy the UP.
Oh, it's a definite destination. You see a lot of people up here riding Harleys, and they want to do that Mackinac Bridge up and over the top of the lake. And so it's a freezing cold in the winter, but it is beautiful right now, and that's where you see a lot of people vacationing up here. And as I said, doing the loop up and around over the top to hit the Mackinac Bridge is very beautiful. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but my father's talked about it, and I've heard it quite a bit. But definitely a lot of people come to Bark River for one thing, and that's short course off-road racing.
Good-looking track here, and period. But, it looks like it's held up relatively well as I'm going through all my homework here. It's held up really well today, I think. Yeah, well, the guy said that it was really wet. Like a couple weeks ago, that nobody's had a chance to test on it. A lot of times Chad Hort or the climbers will come here because they're local to shake down their vehicles, but they were saying that there was so much water that they had to put in sort of like leach lines to get it to bleed off. It doesn't look like it now, but I think because it had so much water in it that it's real deep and it's not breaking apart. Because we've seen that in the past is at this race that as it starts to get blue groove, next thing you know, a big sheet will break off the top and then it will create a big hole. But now they're able to work it because there's water underneath the surface. But it's getting blue very fast. It's a very hard racetrack. I have 15 drivers signed up for the Pro 2-wheel drive. Your son Luke's been in this one, and we saw him. He's trying to pick up where he left off, not necessarily in Pro 2-wheel drive, but in the Cup race back at Crandon. He was fast. He was out in front, and he's been battling with Brad Lovell, but he showed that he's got that Pro 2 working in his first full season in Pro 2, doing it on his own, but I think he's figured out something.
Yeah, we're really proud of him. Obviously, my wife Stephanie is at home. She had neck surgery and stuff like so. Hi, hun. Wish you were here. Wish I was there. And also Luke or Jake and Cassidy, our other kids, are watching.
Hi, guys.
But Luke has been doing a great job. He's working really hard. Zach Tagar and everybody down in Anago is helping him out. Langley Ford and Multicam and Cooper and Method and all that stuff. So it's great to see people embrace what your son is doing, because it's one thing to be a racer and have everything covered for you, but you need to work for it. You need to have that work ethic. And in a lot of guys here, you can see that. Johnny Greaves is a self-made man. He went from motocross, pro light, then to pro 2, pro 4, and he's worked to build that race team underneath him, because you don't see a lot of race teams out here hiring guys.
Right.
I was fortunate to drive for Red Bull and Menzies Motorsports. But then, obviously my contract, when it ended, Bryce became the Pro 2 and Pro 4 driver, because guys love driving this so much, but they don't want to hire a driver. They want to be the driver. And so that's something that they have to do. And another entry that I'm really excited this weekend is Andrew Carlson.
That's what I was going to do. I was looking for my sheet.
I knew he was going to say that, so I needed something to jump in on Robbie on that and drop an elbow in on
And we saw him. He looks like he dropped back out in the pro lights, but he already knows what the track's going to be like. He goes out there in Pro 2. And you talk about youthful exuberance as a kid that comes from snowcross.
Yep.
Pro lights wet his feet. Now, Pro 2 is a different story.
It's a bigger, more. But one thing you love, though, when I talked to Andrew, is that you spoke too soon.
No.
Is that once you jump a Pro 2 after jumping a Pro Light, you realize how bad those Pro Lights hurt you.
Or suspended.
And how much you really want to drive your Pro 2. So Andrew was really excited. That was Keegan Kincaid's truck last year. So a winning truck, a fast truck. Andrew's a young, excited driver and very, very fast. So we should see some good things coming from him, because Luke Johnson was on the pole. He was the fastest. He pulled a 2, so that puts him in position 4. We have Eric Ruppel, the winner from Chicago, in front, and then Andrew Carlson. So he is jumping right into the fire.
Out front. Hey, it's good. I'd rather be in front, personally, myself. I'm not a guy that wants to start back. So, I just want to see what happened. I personally want to be in front and say, it's your job to pass me.
And I just saw lightning. You weren't looking at the screen, so we saw some lightning. So let's get this race going, and we'll see what comes down. But there goes some of the CAT equipment once again, making this track so beautiful.
They're getting cleared off the track. We still have one more race to go, and let's get this thing going.
Unfortunately,
there's people probably in 120-degree weather in Phoenix, Arizona going, oh, man, I could enjoy some of that right about now.
Well, they're not in this trailer with you and I.
Yeah, true. This is true. It is toasty. So they're finishing up that nice blade work. And that's over that little blind turn to the right, heading into the back section in the cemetery. So you talk about cemetery turn. If you look in the middle of our picture, straight across, there is a cemetery there right now to this day. So in case you're wondering. To the right would be the entire pit area, the pro pits, and a lot of sportsmen out to the left, and a lot of camping. There are a ton of camping opportunities. I mean, it's an adventure around here. Bark River itself, there's not much to it. I mean, we're staying at the casino right down the road, but Bark River itself is a very small town.
Yeah, the town, if you want to look it up, look for Escanaba. That's much easier our town to find.
30 minutes away.
You know, there is like about a one-stall airport there.
There's the cemetery.
There's the cemetery turn, and but as I said before, it's great how the town embraces it. Across the way is a little church where they have the pancake breakfast every morning. So I stopped by there this morning. That was a good time.
They still remember you?
No.
Okay.
They still charge me $6.
Oh.
Just like everything. There's nothing free in Bark River.
Oh man, it's getting a little dark over there, but we're still holding on. But got one more race to go.
So our producer's wondering if they had sausages. So if you're wondering about the breakfast buffet that's across the street, they had French toast.
Bring us back on camera.
They have French toast.
We need the Red Bud and the Richies to really step up their game.
So Richie family,
Delicious.
you have to step it up.
Yeah,
because
we've got a cheese tray with nice fine meats and vegetables and everything else, and we love Red Bud. I hadn't been there yet. I love it already, but I mean, you're going to have to step up your program. And Bark River,
we'll see what they got going on.
And Lord knows what's in our cup. What they told us is one thing. What's in it is another. We'll have to see there.
Robbie's getting a little looser as he goes on. He's had ice cream headache 3 times already from slurping on that. But yeah, they had sausages, they had French toast, they had scrambled eggs.
Excellent.
And they had juice and coffee. So for $6, it was a smoking deal with sweet people there and pictures of Jesus up on the wall. I can't complain.
I'll see you tomorrow. Let's take a step aside for just a moment, and when we come back, I want to talk about Brad Love a little bit because he's been on a roll as well. So let's step aside for just a minute. We'll be back with TORC.
Golf is more than a word. It's a sport, a pastime, and the destination? Sweetgrass Golf Club. Perfect your swing as you aim for the flag on an island. And your stay? At the island. Unwind and relax. A little spin, a big deal. Celebrate the day. All part of your total experience at the island. Stay and play Sweetgrass. Call 877-ISL-GREEN today.
Just hold off a little while longer. Please, just hold off one more race, please. Weather has always been a factor in every race in 2017. Actually, Chicago, which we typically do have weather, that was the only one I think we didn't really have to concern ourselves with weather, correct?
Yeah, and it's always a factor here. And, man, those are some scary-looking clouds.
Darkness.
But if it does rain, it's not, like I said, it's not going to get deep. It's just the drivers are going to be very, very loose. Their braking points and how hard they accelerate, everything's going to be massively adjusted. Yeah, vision's going to be a huge thing. So if somebody, we heard Cam Reimers say he blew through 30 tear-off. So if the rain comes a lot of times.
And it wasn't that bad. I mean, how do you go through 30 on a good day?
Yeah, you're eating roost the whole time. It's really hard to see here.
And he's used to it. He was a quad racer back in the day. But yeah, the weather definitely starting to come in, trying to get through this one. And 15 drivers. I wanted to talk about Brad Lovell. I know your son, when he did the stand-up at the last round in Crandon, he said, yeah, he might have won that last race. I'm going to try and make sure it's his last one that he wins this thing. He wasn't able to do it. Brad's been winning this year in everything that he does. Because you see his posts on Facebook. He could be in a Jeep or an off-road truck, and it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, he runs everything, and I love that because he came from rock crawling. And when we started the TORC series a long time ago, he called me and was concerned. Is like, is this V8 Pro Light thing going to happen? Because it was kind of in the rumor mill. And so it was him and Sean Morris were the first two to commit towards it, and he's been a constant ever since. He's won a Pro Light championship. He's now got a pretty strong lead in the Pro 2 division, but the guy that's starting in front of him, Eric Ruppel, won the first round because there was a little bit of a controversial contact.
And he had himself in that situation. He's also followed it up with a pair of third places in the last 2 rounds.
Right,
so Ruppel can do it.
And Ruppel's strong. You know, I'm not going to take anything from him. He's been running these trucks in this platform for a long time, so he is definitely somebody to keep his eye on. So he qualified great, qualified 4th. That puts him on the pole. And then right next to him was Andrew Carlson. But one thing that I did see, which I think might have been his Pro Light, was Andrew Carlson was heading back. So I don't want to cause any alarm because I think Andrew Carlson just drove his Pro Light over there to drop it off to jump into his Pro 2, which is it's a big command, jumping from one vehicle to another, because your throttle cadence, your steering input, how far you can jump, everything is a completely different truck. And that's why I got to give it up to guys like CJ Greaves, who dominated in both classes last year.
Not much air from the Cat equipment on that Cooper tire jump. Mark Peterson, another guy to look for. He doesn't like the rain because it totally jacked up his canopy and stuff when we were in ERX. I don't know how much money he lost in that whole ordeal, but it looked like everything was gone there. Cody Conrad, Gatlin Keener, and Mater will be out there in his Cooper tire entry. Mitch Dorr, 8th qualifier. Is that right? Or he lines up 8. I mean, he's a guy I expected to be a top 3. I've seen him out here just kick tail before, but something wasn't right earlier for him.
Well, I was up in the stands watching, and he came over because Luke ended up catching Mitch because he wasn't, like I said, something was going on. And I talked to his dad, Jeff, who's a past champion back in the soda days a long time ago, and Jeff was saying that he had trouble with the steering, something similar to what we saw with Keegan Kincaid in Pro 4. When you come in, you turn, then you go to correct. If you have a little glitch, like a glitch in the system and the pump's going bad. So something was messing with Mitch Dorr, but don't expect him to stay back in 8th place. He's going to move forward.
Looking at other drivers, Kevin Hanegraath, one to look for. Dan Badeau, another sportsman that I've seen do well here in the past. Timothy Nelson. Scott Mueller, another name out of Curtis, Wisconsin. A Mueller Automotive machine. Galen Gee, we have Tanner Rundhaug and Jay Schaefer. See if the grocery man can get things going.
Yep, Jay Schaefer owns the family-owned Schaefer's grocery store in Crandon, and it's great to see him make a move up from stock truck to here. So here comes our Pro 2s with a lot of anticipation from announcers as well as drivers.
Yep, and Scott Rain and Brent Smith making the call out here for the live event. You see all that smoke or dust or whatever moving from right to left at a pretty good pace. So the weather is trying to blow in, it looks like. Let's just hope it stays away long enough and get this 10-lap race done. Again, thanks everybody for watching online. Robbie Floyd, Riggy Johnson here. Kate Osborne down trackside. Big field of Pro 2-wheel drives, and your son, has those hats on Make Pro 2 Great Again. It was pretty darn good. I don't know if they got to make it great again. It's pretty awesome this year.
Well, and I got to commend the TORC series for making the change. They went to a rule change, which was they had the motors that the Sportsman 2 used to run, which is an iron block, 410 cubic inch, and then they also went to a DOT tire to trying to make these vehicles more affordable so that guys could run a sealed motor, and there's restrictions on it. So but I gotta tell you, I came here, I didn't know what to expect, and they look every bit as fast as a Pro 2. Now, if you took an old school Pro 2 and did a comparison, yeah, you'd have a little bit more horsepower, but some of the guys spent in that, excess of $150,000 on motors last year.
And in project tires, for that matter. I mean, those aren't cheap as well. Now they're having to run the DOT tires for the Pro 2s as well. Leading the field, the Toyota Vescandido Pace truck. That Toyota looking good ahead of Eric Ruppel on the inside. The winner for the first stop of TORC 2017. As you see, the sky starting to darken.
Ray needs to hold off one more race. The Pro two-wheel drives are lining up, and you see Eric Ruppel and Andrew Carlson, a new face into Pro two-wheel drives. He gets out of his Pro Light, now into Pro 2s. We'll start side by side. The series points leader, Brad Lovell, in third next to Luke Johnson, who's been fast this year as well, who sits third in points behind Mitch Dorr. Find your favorite driver at the top of the screen. Mark Peterson to this one, Cody Conrad, Keener, Dorr, Kevin Hanegraaff, one to look for as well. Look at how tight they are. There's the flagging stand. There's green flag. It's time to go for Ruppel on the inside, Andrew Carlson on the outside. A left-hander to start, but now right-hander puts Carlson in the lead for a brief moment. And again, it's a totally different animal when you're talking about Pro Lights and Pro 2, but it looks like Carlson's picking it up nicely.
Andrew Carlson really liking that truck. As I said, he's very comfortable in it and enjoying it. Now we see the field sort of settling exactly how they qualified, except Carlson is out front.
Let them separate just a little bit. The first lap can be hectic. Over 15 drivers in this field, and they're going Brad Lovell up into third, Johnson into fourth.
Andrew Carlson jumping hard, jumping nose high, and it looks like everybody else behind him is just trying to settle in and watch what's going on. They've done a great job with the track. No dust has come up, and now here we see Brad Lovell looking to the inside of Eric Ruppel.
Brad Lovell coming off of back-to-back wins at Crandon, so a great story there. He hadn't had a win in Pro two-wheel drive, and then he gets back-to-back wins. So he's kind of got that Kyle Kleiman feel. I can do no wrong, but I have a feeling there's going to be a few drivers have something to say about it today here. And look at Carlson. I mean, he's pulling out a little bit in the 151.
Absolutely. Andrew Carlson looking very good in his debut in this Pro 2. He's working with Keith Stamper, and that is also, as we talked about, Keegan Kincaid's Pro 2 from last year. Here we see Lovell looking to the inside, but Luke Johnson used a little bit of the cushion and gained a little ground.
Eric Ruppel, Maxxis Tires, Teenage Transmissions, T&J Landscapes. You see that bright Maxxis entry just behind him. Brad Lovell, Amsoil, Cooper Tires, Method Race Wheels. Luke Johnson just behind him. Red Bull, Cooper Tires, Team Multicam. Ford dealership down the road, Langley Ford.
Yep, Ruppel with a great line. He didn't give it up. Lovell looked to the inside. Now we see Luke Johnson doing over and under. Both of those guys going on two-wheels, getting on the bicycle. So now's going to be the time, because you don't want to sit back too long and eat too much roost, because we heard Johnny.
Whoa, over rotation from Lovell. See if Johnson can take advantage of it. Lovell's still going to have that inside. Ruppel doesn't even know what's happening. Johnson's got to close it down sometime. There's his square-up point. Now he takes that inside line, and oh man, what a face full that Brad Lovell's getting. And Johnson, that line really worked for him. Did you see how much he closed in on Ruppel?
Exactly. He used the outside to the inside. We talked about that. Luke was trying to exit low coming off of there. What happened was Brad just got a little bit too sideways up and over the top. So now we see Luke Johnson moving to the outside of Eric Ruppel, probably going to cross under, trying to do an over-under.
And they did, and he initiated really early, and that was a perfect turn. That right front was right up against that big wall. You want to come close to it, but you definitely don't want to hit it.
But Andrew Carlson, let's not leave out the leader, because a lot of times when you get out front, you don't get seen. But Andrew Carlson out in front. We're watching Luke Johnson chase down Eric Ruppel for second place.
Yeah, and Andrew Carlson in his debut in the Pro two-wheel drives out of Elk River, Minnesota. He lives there at the ERX track. Aturo Tires, Amsoil, Sport Tech, and Best Western Hotels. You see Luke Johnson, LJ14. I know Multicam, it's like a digital, like a camouflage, but he is all over. I mean, there's no doubt that Ruppel can see him.
Yeah, Ruppel knows, and his spotter's letting him know. Luke looking inside, looking outside, but trying to stay out of the roost, because you don't want to add all that dirt to your radiator, because we saw it happen to Cam Reimers and also to Johnny Greaves.
An early initiation going on that big drop-off, and now we'll get to see Luke Johnson. Well, you see Ruppel take that outside line, so maybe his spotters say that outside's really working, and Johnson take more of a middle-of-road approach this time around. But
Ruppel push a little bit, Johnson to the inside. Can he make it stick when they come down into the S-turn? They're side by side. Ruppel, does he hold his line? He is polite. Ruppel does a great job, and now he fights back. That's why I love watching these guys aren't taking each other out, because that is hairy. That is a very high speed. Luke Johnson with about a 150-foot jump now moves himself into second place.
And again, he takes that inside, squares it up, and goes to that. And they have dropped Brad Lovell. Now we will have a competition caution, so even though you see Andrew Carlson with a negligible advantage right now, is he still out? Yeah, there he is. He's not even in the picture, but that closes up after lap 5. One thing though, vision
keeping those radiators clear, it's imperative right now. Carlson had to deal with it. Ruppel really hasn't had to deal with it. Johnson has.
Exactly. So, but he hasn't driven too much in the roost. Now we're back up to Andrew Carlson, who's done a great job. We see 4 out of the 10 laps, so he's doing a good job. This kid is picking it up very quick, as you said. He races snowcross, he races a little bit of everything. But an issue with Brad Level, which we see him back even further. So he had an issue in practice. So Brad Level still not coming around as we watch the field go through. Now we see Ruppel, Peterson, and we still don't see Level.
And Mitch Dorr is in 5th place, who sits 2nd in points. Luke Johnson 3rd in points. This is everything that they needed. Johnson I've got 20 points behind Brad Lovell. Mitch Dorr was just 2 points ahead of Johnson. They needed a mistake by Brad Lovell. So Lovell dropping back really helps Mitch Dorr and Luke Johnson as far as the big picture is concerned. Luke's had his day.
Yeah.
He knocked himself out at ERX.
Yeah, he took the wall down there. But right now it looks like Luke is making a little bit of time on Andrew Carlson, but I don't think he's going to catch him by the yellow flag. So here we see the distance between those two drivers, and Carlson doing a great job running the cushion. He has picked up this Pro 2 very, very fast. So great job by Andrew Carlson. Now we see Luke Johnson in the picture, but both of these drivers using the cushion very well.
We saw how fast Andrew Carlson is. He's out in front, but we saw him at ERX being one of the front runners and rolling over a couple times. He can be aggressive, sometimes too aggressive. Kate Osborne, you have more?
That makes a lot of sense. One thing that he did tell me earlier, although he's had limited seat time in this Pro 2 yesterday, first time in the truck, he said he liked this Pro 2 better already. It's easier in the body. He feels much more in control with much more power. Now, I think that's something interesting to note, that he also likes the fact that he got a chance to run in Pro Light before Pro 2, as that's what he had done in snowcross for so many years. He actually at one time ran 4 classes in the same race day.
Thanks, Kate. I think that's right, Ricky. And yeah, you give a racer an opportunity to have more horsepower and much better suspension, you're going to take it.
And you see Andrew Carlson coming up on Brad Level. He is rolling around, and now he is being lapped, but he's still out on the course. So this is very bad for Brad Level when it comes to points. And now we got a race for first place.
And if it's something that you can fix in Brad Level, you can do it at that caution time. But when you're a lap down, you're a lap down. You can't get that one back.
Right, but if he keeps rolling, and hopefully some of the other guys DNF. But now we got a race going back and forth. We see the drivers using the different lines, and we've seen some controversy between these two in the past, so then we could see some racing coming on.
In a different class. That was Pro Lights. That was last year at ERX, and hoping neither one of them end up on their lid here today. But you see Andrew Carlson and Luke Johnson, two guys that have raced each other before, but they were in totally different trucks when they did so. The debut for Andrew Carlson in the Pro 2, and this is the first full season for Luke Johnson in Pro 2 as well. He started last year, but it didn't last long when Ari Leindyke Jr. got into the back end of Johnson's truck and took him out of his Crandon race. But right now, halfway through, 5 laps down, 5 more to go. Andrew Carlson leads. Luke Johnson, Eric Ruppel, Mark Peterson, Mitch Dorr, your top 5. And I promise you, you don't want to miss the back half of this Pro 2 race.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper. An American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
Well, the rain is holding off, but it is about to rain down with 750 to 900 horsepower for the final laps
of the Pro 2 wheel drive race where Andrew Carlson in his Pro 2 debut leads Luke Johnson and Eric Ruppel 1, 2, and 3. Where's the series points leader, Brad Lovell? He's a lap down. Something is wrong with him, but effectively he is out of this race and he's losing a ton of points in the process. He may lose the points lead in the process. 18-point advantage goes quickly in a hurry here when you finish outside that top 13. There he is. Andrew Carlson gets a great start. The 151, you see ERX. That was stop number 2 and 3, or 3 and 4 of our 2017 TORC schedule. And that is his backyard. This is a brand new truck for him, but we've seen it win before in Keegan Kincaid. He takes over the truck, and right now he's taking over the lead of this Pro 2.
He's back, started right up where he left off, and that is out in front. Luke Johnson with a small mistake over there, loses some ground to Carlson, but shoots back up the inside. So Luke was able to make a lot of ground. Was Carlson saving his tires? Was he saving anything? We're about to find out.
Yeah, because he had a considerable advantage. Was Luke really pushing that hard, or was Carlson backing up to him? That's going to be the question.
In my opinion, both are running hard, but Andrew's definitely got something going on. He's running really strong, and here we're seeing the guys in the back, they're not giving up. They keep pushing.
Eric Ruppel, Mark Peterson back there. It looks like that's Hanagraph, the Allies for Autism. They're going side by side, door to door. Two guys have been racing with each other in the Sportsman, now doing it in Pro 2, and it's good to see them picking up because the trucks are a little bit different than what they raced in Sportsman, but yet they're so much the same.
Yeah, exactly. And the guys that are up front are working hard on their program, doing everything. But these guys are obviously on a budget. They go out there and they're having a good time, but they're professional racers nonetheless. And some of the trucks up front are a little newer, a little lighter, a little zoomier, but everyone's got a minimum weight, a maximum cubic inch, and all of that. So you have to run within the rules, and that's what they're doing.
Dan Badeau in there as well, Mueller, Keener, Nelson, and Schaefer rounding out the top 10. But yeah, Allies for Autism, you see that over and under there as you see Hanagraph dropping back one position. Kate Osborne?
Guys said it was funny getting a chance of talking to him earlier. He thinks, if he's not mistaken, he has been coming to Bark River longer than almost anybody in the entire Pinzer paddock. He said he started here in 84, 85, and actually his very first time that he got involved in off-road racing, it was actually here at Bark River.
And Kate's talking about Dan Badeau as you see him make the pass over Kevin Hanagraph, dropping Hanagraph back to 6. Still, it's Andrew Carlson out in front, but still great races throughout this field, and a 15-truck entry. This is an exciting race throughout the pack.
And back in front is the two guys. Andrew Carlson is still in front. Luke Johnson chasing him down. He's got 3 laps to get it done. He seems to be closing the distance, but is he going to be able to open up the door?
Right there. That's an excellent spot by Luke. And I talked to Johnny Greaves earlier, and he said he actually likes being in second at this track than he does leading.
I disagree 100%. I've been in second, I've been in third, and I've been in front. The roost, but you heard him say how much he ate and how hot his truck got. Andrew Carlson with a little mistake there. Luke Johnson trying to capitalize on it, but can't say enough about Andrew Carlson right now, doing a great job. First time in that truck, doing good, getting a little loose. Luke looking to the inside, but it is going. They're going to have to bang some doors to get this done.
Both, and you see Carlson taking that inside line. You can't put a wheel in there. I mean, he's going to have to really be wide, carry his momentum, and hope to drive around him if he's going to make a pass in that section.
Well, it just goes to show how even these trucks are, because Luke will make a little ground, lose a little ground, and so he's going to have to get closer, try to pick his move, and possibly put a little bit of bumper on Andrew. Obviously, you don't want to, but you know what? You got to open up the door if you can. So right now, Andrew Carlson doing a great job. Throws it into a little bit of a push, but Luke makes up a little ground. But Andrew Carlson with a great exit.
You chase that cushion. The cushion keeps getting farther and farther and farther. And they're both, even though Carlson's got a little advantage, he's trying to take those outside lines and stay in that cushion. That can get you in trouble at times. But if you know you can be faster on that outside, you're going to continue to do it until it's not faster.
Luke Johnson looked like he went to lean on him a little bit, missed the back bumper, and Andrew Carlson was able to hold that cushion. So you watch both of them. Luke in a complete face full, but both these guys chasing the cushion, doing a good job. Luke trying to shoot down a little bit earlier, trying to find some traction on that inside.
I thought Luke was going to gain some. He looked better in that right, but when it came to that left, he lost ground. He's able to flick it through here pretty good, but watch the left-hand turn coming up next. Watch Carlson. That's usually a passing place or a way to set up. But the way he sets up, look at how low he is, and then
he can kind of run middle of ground and kind of guard that guy from going high or low.
And right now, you have to not make a mistake because Andrew's doing a great job running his line, gets on the bicycle.
That helped.
But that helped Luke get a little bit of distance. Now can he make something happen in the big sweeper in the graveyard turn?
You see that's a blind turn coming over that rise, and you see Johnson on that left of the screen. That's the right-hand side of the track. He's going to try and stick around the long way around. His best point has been squaring it up and then finally diving to the inside, but you got to get traction. He's got it. He's going really low here. It's a chance, but that cushion's just working for Carlson.
Well, Luke came in, and he would have had to door Andrew pretty hard right there to knock him out of the way, and they got a lot of respect for each other. What happened in the past was in the past, and right now Luke just has to pick his move, set it up, and then go for it.
Carlson doing a really good job, and it's hard. It's so hard to open up the door for these drivers, as you see side by side. Johnson closing in, about a lap and a third left to go here, and another inside line, keeping that front left all the way on that inside, and rotates, and there goes one banner.
Yeah, but now we're down to 2 laps, so Luke has to do something pretty spectacular, or Andrew has to make a mistake. But Andrew doing a great job. He had a lot of pressure from Luke Johnson. Here he gets a little bit loose, but he's able to correct, and he still continues with about an 8 car length lead.
I don't mind what I saw out of Luke Johnson there, because the follow the leader's not working. The outside line went where he tried taking that shorter distance, just trying to make it work, but at that time it didn't.
The white flag is out, so everything needs to happen now. The planners need to align. He has to do everything right, but to be honest with you, Andrew Carlson needs to make a mistake, and Luke Johnson's going to catch him.
Driving hard, 750 to 900 horsepower for the Pro 2-wheel drives, and Keegan Kincaid's old truck looks fast. Mark River once again.
Luke Johnson with a little bit of push, losing a little bit more ground, but we still have half the track to go. And once again, it looks like it's all up to Andrew Carlson. If he does not make a mistake, Luke Johnson gains about half the distance, but he still has a good 5 or 6 car lengths.
Keegan Kincaid won in this truck that Andrew Carlson is driving back in 2015 here in Crandon Pro 2-wheel drive. Now it's up to Andrew Carlson with less than half a lap to hold on. Both drivers into that cushion. Again, Carlson, his first time in Pro 2-wheel drive, and he's looking like a series vet in this class.
He's doing a great job. He's not making any mistakes, holding his line. Luke Johnson going to try to pull something out here, looking down the inside, trying to show him hopefully that his spotter tells him he's there. But right now, Andrew Carlson is running the cushion, and he looks like he's gaining back on Luke Johnson.
There's one lap truck. I think Johnson was looking for him to maybe play a factor a little bit earlier. A left-hand double. Another left hand with a kicker in it, and who would have thought in your first race in Pro 2-wheel drive, Andrew Carlson takes the win. Luke Johnson takes second, and it's going to be a big points day for Johnson as he'll take 23 points for second place. He was only 20 behind Brad Lovell. I don't know if Carlson's got problems. Oh no, he's pulling over to that checkered flare to the victory podium and getting ready. So in his debut, Andrew Carlson wins Pro 2-wheel drive. Johnson and Roop will round out the top 3. We'll hear from them when we return.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged radios. The authority in communications.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by Vision. From high-speed desert racing in Baja to short course carnage, Vision has arrived. And by Maxxis, built for adventure.
Well, you can see friends and family heading down there, and every time the Carlsons travel, half of ERX travels with them. Exactly. ERX Motor Park, but a solid lineup on the victory podium, and yeah, a lot of congratulations for him, but also Brad Rupel. You pointed it out at the top of this race, how he would be a guy to look for, and he held on and finished third.
Yeah, and what I love about, the DOT tires, I mean, these guys drove the wheels off them, and I know personally that Luke uses the SGT Pro and the SGT Max depending on what he's doing, so he's trying a different combination of more of a hard track tire. So everyone's running a little bit something different in how much you groove them. Do you leave a lot of rubber or do you look for a gap? But today definitely was one of those things that it was more of a blue groove, and we saw Luke actually running a little bit too much of the blue groove and Andrew Carlson running the cushion.
Right. What a race in Pro 2-wheel drive, especially if you're Andrew Carlson, the 24-year-old out of Elk River, Michigan. Excuse me. The 24-year-old out of Elk River, Minnesota takes his first victory in Pro 2-wheel drive. He's down there. I promise you it's going to be a happy day for him. What about it? The rookie in this class takes the victory in his first event.
That truck's a little higher there than a Pro Light. A little celebration. As a reminder, back in 2016 at ERX, the first one for your family, your team at ERX, you won at your hometown track in Pro Light. Now here in your first Pro 2, you're taking home a win as well. What statement were you making with that win?
I don't even know. I didn't know what to expect coming in the class. I didn't even know, like lining up front row, I wouldn't have even known who, I could run with or whatever. So to get out and just get the green flag all the way to checkered was awesome for me because I could just run. I'd never run this truck behind anyone ever. So I didn't know what the Pro 2 roost is like or nothing. So for me to just get out and run, it was fun. And I had CJ on the mic and just keep me calm. And I was having a blast. This thing is so fun to drive. Every time in it, I'm just grinning. And it's just a blast. And I got to thank everyone on our team. Yesterday was the first day I drove the truck on a dirt track. So to be on top of the box now, I don't even know what to say. I can't even say I expected to do this. I wanted to give it my all and have fun. And it sucks we didn't have the best Pro Light race, but I'd take this. This is awesome. So super fun. Just got to thank everyone, Stamper, Heisey, Derek, Race, Ty, everyone, my dad, my mom, my fiance, my sister, everyone at CM that's busting their butt, and we haven't had the season we wanted so far, but it's turning around pretty quick. So
I think it'll definitely be a celebration with the Carlson family, but I also would think that there's a lot of people in TORC that are happy here for Andrew Carlson.
Yeah, Carlson Motorsports had a good day. Not the race he wanted in Pro Lights, but when you look at the unofficial results, it doesn't get any better for that for the 24-year-old when you finish on top of those names in Pro 2-wheel drive. Not Pro Lights, Pro 2-wheel drive in your very first race. But it was a big day for Luke Johnson as well. Third in points. Well, that was coming into this race, but now he moves into the lead in championship points with that second place finish, Kate.
Yeah, and you can tell that Luke Johnson here is quite disappointed, even with that second. You were running so well, you almost had enough for Andrew then, and then you didn't. What happened from your perspective? Could you have done anything different?
I could have been a little bit more aggressive. I got close enough to rough him up and opted out. And just towards the end, I stepped on it over there and then over-rotated a little bit. But that I don't want to take anything away from Andrew. It's awesome to have another truck out here in the class, and he's a world-class driver. It's awesome to see him collect his first win. So it's mixing up the bunch of winners this season. But I can't thank these guys enough. It was a good day for points. Unfortunately, Brad pulled off the track early. But Langlade Ford, Multicam, Rugged Radios, Method Wheels, they've been awesome, and we always got tomorrow.
Luke Johnson, although disappointed with second, big points day for him.
Yes, it was, and you can have your bad days, or you can have those good days, but how you manage those bad days, and he talked about Brad Lovell, and it was his bad day. You don't ever want to lose a championship points lead due to mechanical, but there's always those factors you just never know. And I promise you, Brad Lovell's going to come back fighting. But a lot of changes in the points, but one thing for certain is Brad Rubel was one to look for, and we're looking at him in third on the podium once again, Kate.
Eric Rubel is one of those guys who is getting kind of comfortable, unfortunately or fortunately, in third. You told me last time that you just need to get consistent podiums. Here you are again in third. How comfortable are you now with this truck? I know this has been a changing season for you.
Yeah, this is I'm real comfortable in this truck. I just these guys here, congratulations to them. They're just on a different level of us right now. So this Maxxis Pro 2, Pettit development, brand new this weekend. Dynamic converters, Dynamic Motorsports converters came on board. Huge difference. Kramer, my wife, happy birthday. We got to find a little more somehow. We'll get it there.
He knows he can do it. Eric Rubel.
As the skies are still dark out away from Bark River, it held off until the very end here as far as racing is concerned. We still have one more presentation other than the awards, and that's our Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award. And you get the trophy, which is the wallet. You can walk around. You can go into the casino, the Island Casino, and just
$10 spending cash.
Check it. Yeah, you get $10, and Ricky and I get $240.
Right.
But whoever had that Mofo, in your thoughts, and again, they're deliberating that, and they'll have to go through the awards. Who do you think won the Bad Mofo Award? You might have a change in your mind.
Well, I looked at C.J. Greaves with an unbelievable shot at his dad at the end. That was my first. Then Kleiman comes in and continues his dominant role. But now Carlson comes out in his Pro 2 debut and wins wire to wire. So each Bad Mofos for all three separate reasons. One for not crumbling under the pressure being a rookie. The other not crumbling of being a pressure of carrying our role. And the other one coming from the back, CJ coming from the back all the way to shooting for it. So
Cam Reimers might be a recipient too, because he kept his foot in it when that thing looked like a smoke machine. It looked like it was a Louisiana mosquito fogger there for a while. And
it might not have been mega spectacular, but inside the vehicle and the nerves that it was taking for Andrew Carlson, I got to go with him, because to be out in front, like he says, he doesn't know what it's like to follow anybody. He doesn't know what it's like
first time in the truck yesterday.
Now he's out in front, but he's got a champion like C.J. Greaves talking to him, letting him know the line, where the guys behind him are, when Luke was catching him and stuff like that, and he didn't crumble. So,
and he still doesn't know what it's like to have roost in his face.
He'll probably find that out tomorrow, because I think that actually I think so, because I think they go by points tomorrow. We'll see if they're doing more qualifying. We'll figure that out before tomorrow's. But I got to give it to Andrew Carlson because I know what it's like to be out there and with all those question marks, and to put an exclamation point on it and win.
Wonder if it's going to be party in the pits, because it was when he wanted ERX.
We got more racing to do here at Bark River, so we still got round 8 that we can't be partying too much, but they got a lot of work, and it's still 7 o'clock.
Still good time. Without local sponsor stuff, these events would not be possible. We got a little piece here I want you to check out, but again, keeping it local, and thank you everybody that's involved.
Born into a family of builders, Randy View has a long history in the building industry. He began his career as a builder, but life events moved Randy in a new direction, where he became a registered architect. With a passion for both building and design, Randy's dream became a reality, and View Incorporated, a design-build firm, was born. Design-build is a project delivery method where the designer and builder is the same company. This delivery method is growing in popularity for a few reasons. It saves our client time, money, and gives them more control over their project. At View Incorporated, we believe the success of a project relies on the details, and that's where we shine. We design everything in-house, from the architectural, structural, to the plumbing, heating, electrical, and civil. This results in saving both time and money, because we are not paying multiple firms for design and waiting for that design. A design-build project is more efficient because communication and planning happens between just two people, you, the owner, and our firm. We specialize in commercial projects with an emphasis in metal buildings made with American steel. As an authorized Nucor builder, we design, deliver, and build from start to finish. We take pride in understanding every component of your project, considering your short-term and long-term goals. For example, with our metal buildings, we conduct a heat loss analysis and install a high-performance, energy-efficient system to ensure that your investment provides long-term comfort and savings. Your project is our passion. Our goal is simple: to provide you the commercial space that you'll be proud of for years to come while saving time and money. Build it better. Build it faster. Build it with View Incorporated.
That was sweet. I need that building. I like that. It might have been a local sponsor. I'm sitting there looking at how they built that and all that insulation batting and stuff. I'm like, I need one of those.
Well, I mean, that's sexy talk for racers, man. Look at their big empty building. Like, I'll put my car lift over here, my fab shop over there, and so those are definitely the way to go. But
and they're worried about heat loss up here. You know,
I heard about that. We're not so much in California.
Yeah, they're looking at keeping the cool in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keeping the hot. It needs to be a big thermos. Keeps the hot and the cold. All
right, so right now, and we've got a little time before we give out our Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award, and they do the presentation for the final race of the day up there on the stage. But there it is, the updated points, and Brad Lovell does hold on to second. It's still close, but yeah, Luke Johnson a 3-point advantage now over Brad Lovell. We'll have to find out what happened to Brad. And Brad going to a Roush, I believe, this year, right? Did he have a Roush?
Well, yeah, he had a Roush power plant. And in practice, he had a situation where he lost two pumps. And so
2 pumps.
Yeah, well, actually, it overheated. He was able to shut the vehicle off. They thought they lost the motor, but it got a really hot spike in water. Evidently, that must have scarred something, because when you get heat temperatures like that, what happens is you might scar something on the rockers. You know, there's a lot of different little things that you don't know, and you don't have time to tear the motor completely apart. So you're probably going to be seeing a motor change by Brad Lovell tonight. Tough break. You don't want to see that, as Luke Johnson said. You don't want to see somebody go out like that, and you want to race and beat him. And but let's go back and look at Carlson. Is how impressive he is out of the box, and I think a lot of it goes not to just his Pro Light experience, but also his snowmobile experience,
right.
Jumping from one to another, riding a motorcycle, doing the different things. So you're very familiar with using the throttle, where in Pro Light, it's a little bit like restrictor plate racing, where you got to carry your momentum, and that's where Klimas sees to have everyone beat. He doesn't slow that vehicle down. He keeps it rolling.
I always thought, and I was nowhere near your level in motocross, but back when they'd had 125s and 250s, I didn't take a part of the 500s, but I always felt like the lower displacement bike helped me for the bigger one. I always felt like the bigger one helped me for the lower one, because I'm never going to go as fast on a 125 as I do on a 250. But if I ride that 250 like I ride the 125, I'm going to push that thing past the envelope that I would normally do. And I'm sure he's probably trying to wring the neck out of that Pro 2, and he's got that horsepower there. He's got that suspension there that he's never had before. It has to be so gratifying for him to just have that opportunity to – it's got to be like sitting on a pillow the whole time, doesn't it? I mean, the difference between a Pro Light and a Pro 2?
Yeah, it is a pillow, but it's a very violent pillow, and a pillow that can bite you very fast. I was talking to Keith Stamper, and he said that Andrew went out in practice and went off one of the jumps nose high, and he's like, holy cow, when things happen bad, they get stretched out a long ways. But the track was I don't want to say it was forgiving, because we saw it bite Luke Johnson, where he was running down low, where he said he stepped on it a couple times.
Yeah.
But that's living and learning. You know, I've spun out in that turn, I think, 3 times, and so that's part of the racing. When you're the one chasing, you have to find a way around. And the good thing for Andrew that he has CJ probably coaching him along, telling him where to run the lines, where to do that, and also keeping him calm. So
I wonder how that came about, though. And I didn't realize that CJ was his spotter until he said that. But I mean, how do you buy the truck from Keegan, but you want CJ in your ear?
They're just friends, you know. They said, "Hey, you want to give it a go?" And because a lot of times Keith is the spotter for him, but they probably felt that he could use some driving coaching, and so definitely Keith is great for a more experienced guy. He was my spotter for a little bit when I drove for Baldwin's, and it was great because he's very calm. He's got a good tone on his voice. He's a builder. He understands racing. He's been around it a long time. But if you have a chance to take the guy who won both championships last year over anybody, you're going to take CJ Greaves. And so I'd probably have him spot for me, but he and I have had our words in the past. He might not say anything. He might just say, "You're good."
Yeah.
Send
You're clear.
it.
Bam.
I'll get the Larry Enticer. Just send it.
Yeah. So what's going on with Luke's mustachial area? I mean, is he trying to look like Val Kilmer in Lonesome Dove or whatever? I'll be your Huckleberry.
Well,
I mean, that's what I think.
My wife Stephanie and I don't dig it, but this is his life to live. He's got
Look at Val Kilmer. Isn't it the Lonesome Dove that is it? I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yeah.
Whenever he says that, that's what he looks like.
And when he said I'll be your Hucky, that means I'll carry your casket.
No, but I'm saying that it looks like him when he's sitting at that table.
Yeah.
As he's Doc Holliday.
Yeah, for sure. So they're trying to figure out the trophy situation.
I bought him some refreshments last night, and it's obviously paid off. It works.
So far, so good.
And what sparkling cider? Everybody's of age out there on the deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, Carlson, he didn't like that finish in Pro Lights, but it's something you can't take away from him now, and he'll remember forever. Just like that first win in Pro Light last year at ERX, to do it here in Pro 2 in your first race. It's like Keegan Cade we saw, at where were we, in Sturgis?
Yeah,
a few years ago. Here's your opportunity, son. Bam, he won.
Right, and not that they're not easier to drive, but they're more forgiving. You got the throttle that can help you out of situations. They're not as tippy. You have the bigger tire. You have the 35-inch tire, which isn't as edgy and bitey. It's wider and taller. And then you have the suspension.
Yeah.
You got the big bypass shocks and everything like that. You got 20 inches of wheel travel, so you can send it off of these jumps, and it's a much softer ride, and you just have more fun being aggressive. But I don't think that's not what aggression is not what won this race for Andrew Carlson. It was patience and being smooth.
And I liked literally you get into guarding mode when you're out in front. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You take more middle of the road stuff that might get you in trouble. You go lower in certain places that might get you in trouble because somebody's running a faster line. He was sticking with those faster lines that open up that inside.
But there's nowhere to go. We talked about this earlier, talking about Johnny Greaves was saying that if you overdrive the entries, it's going to kill your exits. But for when you're racing, you have to start making some moves. You have to start putting some pressure. So sometimes it looked like Luke Johnson was making his move a little bit too soon, but if you sit outside, you eat so much roost.
Yeah.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Hero or zero. It's one of those things that if you try it and it works, you're awesome. If you go to the inside, you make a mistake. Because we in the same exact place, we saw Kyle climbing past his brother Cody in the same place. Was able to get position and then move him up and out of the way. Luke did it, just got a little bit too sideways, and then it backed around on him. So
Luke did. It looked like a sprint car race for Luke. He was saying everybody was taking middle to outside, and he sees that one strip.
Right.
But if you push that one little strip and you're on the inside and you put your back end over there in that blue groove, and that's actually what caught him out. But I like the fact that he did that. He tried. He's like, it's not working. It's not working. I got to try something.
Yeah, I don't want somebody, the guys that I coach and stuff and work with, that is just going to sit and settle for second. I know that it also hurts Luke a little bit more having a new kid come to the group. I've had one with Ron Lachine, Jeff Stanton, and younger guys when they come in and they beat you, you're like, but now, okay, we got that out of the way.
Well, your Lachine deal didn't work out near as well as your Stanton deal as far as the getting along with them.
Right. We had bigger words, but it is what it is. Ron Lachine and I are awesome buddies.
Dogger's
right now.
the best.
And Maxima is a sponsor on Luke's truck, so I want to throw a shout out to Maximal Lubricants for sticking behind him and myself when it comes to the desert racing.
There's
and stuff.
nothing better than 927 with race gas in the morning.
Love the smell. People don't know what we're talking about. It's a two-stroke oil mix that
you have to mix with
great.
the gas, and it's just like like it's motocross and cologne.
Yeah, exactly. You're basically dating us and also saying that we love the smell of gas.
I put it in my lawnmower, and it's not even a two-stroke. That's honest to God's truth.
Yeah, but
and we are. I know we're vamping just a little bit because we still haven't heard the official word on our Bad Mofo award, but.
That fly is a friend of yours.
Yeah, but we can talk about anything we want because our producer's not in our ear to tell us any
exactly.
otherwise. Tim Watson, our producer.
That the fly is not attacking our.
Keep getting my.
Hold on a second. It's not attacking our deal, but our giant beverage cup.
I've taken mine to Mayan Riviera in Mexico before, so we'd like to welcome everybody watching on TORCseries.com and everybody, and BN Sports also. We're going to be airing on BN Sports, and I'll try and get you the air date. I'll try and get it for the next show.
And throw a shout out to Toyota Escondido. Now, a lot of people might wonder, if you're not from California, what is Escondido and where is Escondido? So they might have talked about it in the past, but I'm going to give you the lowdown. It's a little place just north of San Diego up Highway 15.
Yep.
And Toyota Escondido is a standalone Toyota dealership. They don't have multiples, but I think they're like number 2 or 3 in the country when it comes to selling trucks because they do a lot of different stuff with the guys Dan McGranahan and Jim Holtis on the Toyota Action Sports Show, and they're huge into supporting motorcycle riders as well. So it's great to have them on board.
Yep.
We're completely opposite ends of the country right now.
Yeah.
But Escondido, not Escanaba, Escondido.
Yeah, Toyota Escanaba would just be right down the road.
Exactly. That would make too much sense.
That's not the case. All right, we've talked about the Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award, and I don't know, she qualifies for it as well, but she didn't race lights, 2s, or 4s. Tiffany Simons. Tiffany Stone, excuse me. I know Tiffany Simons. Tiffany Stone's down there, Miss TORC, ready to hand out that award. And I'd hate to be the guy that has to make that call, and we're about to find out who that is right about now.
Thanks, guys. I have finally been waiting all day to give one of the best awards that you've ever seen. It is the Vision Wheel Bad Mofo Award. And it's great. I've given him away before, and I am so excited to give this away to this gentleman. Not only did he do a debut here, he won that Pro 2 debut, started from the beginning, ended at the first spot, and that goes to Mr. Andrew Carlson. Andrew, congratulations. This is from Vision Wheel. If you want to hold that up, show that the guys. It is the throwdown in the UP. This is from Vision Wheel. You are a bad mofo. You've taken that, started in the front, you ended in the front. Pro 2, you've done it, and you've won all of this great stuff, and we aren't even at your home track. I cannot wait to see what happens at ERX. How are you feeling right now?
I had a great day today in the Pro 2. Couldn't ask for more. I didn't really know what to expect coming into the weekend. I've never really driven the truck before, but just really cool to get out front and running clean air and just have fun. The Pro 2s are a blast to drive, and there's so much crazy stuff you can do in them, and they just soak everything up. So I honestly had so much fun racing that thing today, and I can't wait till tomorrow. I'll get back in there.
Well, it's safe to say that you are a Vision Wheel Bad Mofo. High five up top to you. I cannot wait to see what this guy does in a Pro 2. Back up to you guys.
High five, very nice. I got to see what he did in the Pro 2, Ricky Johnson. That's a win in his debut. And look at it. Oh, turn it around.
Yep.
Turn it around. Oh.
And put it in his pocket.
Yeah. There you go. Now, no, show it. There you go. I like that. That's sweetness. All right, that's sweetness. All right, so round 7 is done, Ricky.
Round 8 coming up. It's going to be great to see what happens because great racing today, but the track was very unmuddy, very hard, very slick. But we have clouds in the horizon. Could be a completely different round 8.
And you know the way that you can find out what it's going to look like? That's if you tune in tomorrow. The next round, round 8, TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. Another throwdown in the UP. Make sure you join us. Ricky Johnson, and we have Kate Osborne. I'm Robbie Floyd. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time at round 8 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship.